Now, tattoos are great because they don't belong on your body, but you put them there to say something about yourself. Like, I met this girl, let's call her some dumb skank. Now, she had tattoos. All over her body. Even around her cooch, yes! On one side a palm tree and on the other a sunset. Like it was on vacation or something. But tattoos are cool.
This is Riley from Power Trip and Metal-O-Mania kicks ass.
What's up, everybody? Billy Milano here from Method of Destruction MOD as we get ready to tour. I want you to know that you're listening to Metal-O-Mania with Chris and Billy fucking Milano. Tell your mom I said hi.
You're listening to the best Metal-O-Mania.live.
You are listening to the home of metal, Metal-O-Mania.live. Powered by B Squared Inc. Entertainment.
This is the Crypt from Metal-O-Mania. I got my headphones on and my dick in your cat. Let's party. It's time to metal.
What's up? This is Bibi from Cryzik, and you are listening to Metal-O-Mania. Fuck yeah.
Okay, Geralt, just crank it up to a 10.
Darnielle will slay you and fuck your corpse.
Too high! Ah!
Motherfucker, new face, new red.
In your wet dreams, motherfucker.
All right, out there, Metal-O-Maniacs. Welcome to a very, very special episode. Not only is it episode number 150 of Metal-O-Mania, a true milestone we're very proud of, but as you can see, we are also stationed and taking up camp here in Annapolis, Maryland at Orange Tattoo, doing the thing. We have tattoo extraordinaire, Mr. Artist himself, Joe, in the house. How are you tonight, Mr. Joe?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm glad to see you, brother. I appreciate being in here, man. Off camera, we tried to drag him over here, but we got Frankie Orange in the house, man. Thank you for having us tonight, Frankie. You are the man, brother. And I'm going to tell everybody out there, if you're within 3,000 miles of Orange Tattoo in Annapolis, Maryland, this is the place to go. Get on out here and get yourself some ink. But we do have a special show in store for everybody tonight. Not only do we, my camera's over here, right? Not only do we have a special show, we have a special playlist in store for everybody tonight as well. We are not going to be playing our usual brand new playlist. Instead, we have a playlist based on Skully asking me early in the week, what songs would you want to hear while you got a tattoo? And I said, you know what? I'm going to make a playlist out of it, and that's what we're going to hear tonight. So I hope everybody digs it. You may notice that we are short Bongwood. He has a family situation he's taking care of. We love you, Bongwood. We are thinking about you, sir. And we are short Wantina, but she may still show up, so we'll see. But you can kick it over to the girls now if you want, guys. But you can see I have Miss Skully and Snax here joining us tonight. What's up, ladies?
Hey, Crypt. What's happening?
I'm very happy to see you guys, man.
How you feeling so far?
Oh, awesome. Oh, you know me. I love this kind of thing. This is my shit here. So
I'm not even going to lie. I'm jealous.
Yeah, you know.
I don't like being in a tattoo shop, not getting a tattoo.
Well, come on over here.
I don't think you're alone
I wish.
on that.
Yeah, right on. Hey, we'll schedule one together. You know, there's no such thing as too many appointments for tattoos.
That would be awesome. We do.
So,
I'm going to hold you to that.
All right, let's do it.
It's been said.
You know what we should do? We should have a thing with our listeners out there and have a contest for somebody local to come do a tattoo with me and Snax.
There you go.
You know, Crypt, Snax, and somebody out there go do a tattoo together. And here
I'm
would
picky,
be the place
so I get to
go.
pick the winner.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
And here would be the place to go if you're going to do it, though, man. I love the art here. As you know, we've shared the art for my Cthulhu was here. Right. And in August of 2017, we did a live show from here in this location as well. You know, got the tattoo on my
I remember that.
on my leg. So,
Yep.
But we're going to have a kick-ass show for everyone. Bear with us. We're going to kick the camera back and forth between me and Joe and over to the ladies and, you know, all over the place tonight. We're going to show you some art. I've included some crazy ink humor for everyone tonight, man. It's going to be our full-on tattoo show tonight. So,
Nice.
you know, we opened up the show with some Chrisix tonight, the great metal motherfucker, and that's going to be our nickname for the show tonight. It's the Chrisix. I say Chrisix, they say Chrisix. You say tomato, I say, you know what I'm saying. I say go suck it, fucking eat a dick. So.
You probably should say what they say, the band themselves. You know, call it
Shout out
themselves.
to them, by the way. You can go into our archives and see an interview with Chrisix if you wish. And we're going to play a lot of bands that we've talked to in the past tonight on the show. We have Snax is here from Snipers of Babel. We're going to play a Snipers of Babel song for you guys later. We almost had Bozer come in tonight.
Right, we were about that close.
Yeah,
right?
you know,
But
story of my life.
He's sick, so I told him to stay home.
Yeah, nobody's sick. Yeah, that's right.
Please stay away from me.
I think Joe's only rule was don't bring your sick asses in here if you're sick. That's it. You know?
That's a good rule.
I don't blame you for that.
subscribe to that. I've literally sprayed people with Lysol, like literally,
I don't blame you.
like
I don't blame
on
you.
them, like get away.
Well, you know, we got lots of songs we're going to play for everybody tonight. We got lots of comedy we're going to get into. We're going to bring you some Snipers of Babel. We have an interview with Red Death tonight, man. I don't know if you guys are on these guys yet, but they are fantastic. The new releases, just silly. I'm super excited to share that. In fact, there may be something in the water where we can get Red Death to come in here and play something here, right here at Orange Tattoo in the coming months. So we'll talk about that as we go.
You guys been talking, I see.
Yeah,
during
man.
the
We're plotting and planning.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into another jam right away, though, and play some things for you. But we do have a couple of questions. I've been taking questions from our listeners all week for JOWEONE here tonight.
Sweet. You're starting right out the gate with that, huh?
We're going to throw a couple at them. We'll sprinkle them in throughout the show. But
got enough to work with, right?
the first question that struck me, Joe, and I got to ask you, have you ever, or would you ever, if not, put a tattoo on someone's beef curtains?
For the right price, anything's possible.
There you go. See?
Good answer.
Is that the way it works? Is it extra?
I've got a question. I don't have to ask it now. We can save it till later, though. I got a good question.
All right. We got one loaded up in the chamber. There you go.
Do you need to write it down? Because I would need to write it down.
Oh, no, I'll remember. I'll remember. This is something that another tattoo artist friend of mine did, and I would, and it I don't know if he would ever do it again, so I would like to ask Joe if he would do it, but we'll ask later.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Okay.
There's a lot to get into tonight. We're going to unwrap it all. And I got to ask this one, too. How do so many tattoos happen with misspellings? You know, you do a stencil, and then you got to Google these days.
I will tell you exactly how it happens. Joe, if someone comes into you with a tattoo that's misspelled and says, I want it just like this, what would you do? Exactly. That is how it happens.
I guess that's a good point. Spelling's your job, right?
I would spell it however they told me to spell it.
Good
and I wouldn't
gracious.
say a word. I'd be like, yeah, that'll be a great tattoo. Let's do it.
I love the one that's going around now. No regrets.
Regrets.
No regrets.
Right?
You know, isn't it ironic? Anyway.
All
right. Well,
maybe it meant to say no Rugrats.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe that's how it's misspelled.
It's a screw up either way, but that would be better, you know. Because if
That's
you spell
what I
like
can get
that, you don't
behind.
need to be having kids. So no regrets is a good motto for
there
you.
you go.
But we're gonna get into a lot of shit tonight. We got a lot of ground to cover and a lot of ink to cover on our skin tonight. So. Again, if you're anywhere in the area, this is the place to go. Call on down to Orange Tattoo. Make yourself an appointment. Come on down and get some ink.
Just
Me and
celebrated
Layla
10
are going to
years,
make
right?
some fucking... I'm sorry?
Just celebrated 10 years.
That is correct. Correct. Right, Joe? Frankie? You guys
10
just celebrated
years
10 years
on
in
Sunday,
operation
right?
this past Sunday, right, Joe?
That's correct.
And how did it go? Well, you guys had a big special on Sunday, right?
Oh, it was insane. We had a line wrapped around the building.
Nice.
Nice.
It was a good time.
That's awesome stuff,
Very,
man.
very awesome.
So, yeah, get out here. Do the thing. So, well, I tell you what. I can't see my notes, but we got another
It's
song
Avatar.
coming. What's up next?
Avatar, Hail the
Avatar.
Apocalypse.
Okay.
Very fun song.
I do love this song, man. I love Avatar. Now, I won't lie to you. I love old Avatar a little more than the newer stuff, but they tend to be blending more and more towards the new metal stuff as they put out more and more releases. But I'll tell you what, man. Hail the Apocalypse was the very first song that came to my mind when you asked me to put a playlist together for tonight. So here you go, man. Let's do it. Play a little Avatar for you. And don't go anywhere, though. We got ink, we got metal, we got interviews, we got all kinds of great stuff in store for you tonight on Metal-O-Mania, episode number 150.
Nice.
Fuck yeah. Little Avatar for you.
Kill those motherfuckers!
Am I not allowed one cock-sucking, duck-fucking little break in this world?
I know you can probably sense I'm a bit of a badass. I don't mean because of that story, but I mean, you can tell I have a tattoo. I know you can. Not everyone gets one, you know. There's badasses in the rest of you. But I have a tattoo. And I'm only gonna have one. And I think the whole tattoo thing is actually a lot like kids. Like, first of all, some people want one, some people want none. Some people want a bunch, and it's all over their arms and it just looks like a lot of work, you know. But you go to a place, you lay down, there's a lot of pain, and you're like, God, I hope I love it. It is permanent. So.
Ended though.
Right? Oh. It's beautiful. I love it.
Hey guys, we're back.
There you go. There you go. Can you hear me?
Nice. I fucking love that song.
Yeah, that's a great
It
song.
just fucking gets you pumped up, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, it does. It's awesome.
Well, you know, I tried to get up and run around the store while we were listening to that song, but Joe wouldn't let me.
Joe was chasing you, man.
Yeah,
He was
man,
just
he was like,
sit the
"Dude,
fuck
what
down,
the
asshole.
fuck, brother?"
He asked us if we could put a
damn it.
seatbelt on you or something.
He said about 4 times now, nobody told me I was tattooing a fucking child here tonight.
Well,
so.
he's done you before, so he knows.
So he knew.
Right. That's very true. By the way, Joe, good stuff, man. I'm very proud. Every piece I have on me that I love the most are yours, brother. So, which does bring me to a question. I know. How long have you been tattooing, Joe?
Be 24 years now.
Nice.
Well, this is maybe an odd question, I guess, but is there a piece that exists that you find you're most proud of, or is that a silly thing after 24 years of tattooing?
There's a few of them out there. I guess it kind of changes, you know, from time to time. One of them was probably a back piece I did on a good friend of mine. It was a huge, looks like some communist propaganda art, but it's all stuff related to his family instead.
Oh, neat.
So it's a lot of different little hidden things in there for him.
Very nice.
Well, you know, I would think you being what I know about you and your Star Wars love, man. Have you done a bunch of Star Wars pieces?
I've done a few. I haven't done a ton of them. I'd love to do more.
Have you done a Baby Yoda yet?
Oh, that's a great. Wow, no Baby Yoda yet.
Oh my
Well, it's pretty new,
Mandalorian tattoo though, like I
Right?
did a This Is the Way on somebody.
Oh, nice already.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. I asked because I've already seen someone on Facebook talking about that their next tattoo is going to be a Baby Yoda tattoo, and I'm like, dude, talk
I've
about
seen a
impulsive.
bunch of
Don't do
those
it.
already.
Right?
Yeah. Gonna find out he's not the people want, you know.
Right. I was going to say he's going to end up being the bad guy or something.
There's gonna be a twist, and they're gonna be like, "Damn, why'd I get Baby Yoda on me?"
Right.
Well, you know, I know you won't do it because we've talked about it before, but I've always thought about getting a lollipop on the head of my junk. You know. Frankie's in the background going, "No, I don't think so."
I've done enough of those.
But yeah, right. What piece are you most proud of that you have, Layla?
Well, God, I love them all. It's hard to say.
I know they mean so much individually, don't
I
they?
think my favorite would have to be my maple leaf that I have here on my
Oh,
side.
okay,
Honestly,
awesome.
just because of the sentimentality attached to it, what was going on around the time I got it, the inspiration for it, and just a lot of stuff that it's just too much to go into. But
What it means to you.
Can I show it?
Sure, let's do it. Yeah, but let's see some skin. We'll never tell you to not show skin.
I
here,
don't know how
especially on
much
the-
I'm in the camera here, so you guys need to tell me whether
It
or not.
looks
Yeah.
like you probably would be all right.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can kind of see myself here.
There you
yeah,
go.
let me. I'm going to be looking at a delay here, trying to match the camera. So
Come on, let's see some skin, girlfriend.
Take it off. Take it off.
Yeah. Hey, do we got any stripper music over there, B?
I might have to back up to get it in here. Hang on.
You're still in line with your mic, so you should be
Yeah,
all right.
you're good.
All right, so hang on.
The big
There we go.
reveal.
Oh, look, the ratings
we
are
gotta
going
take the
through the
pants
roof
off.
now,
Hang
buddy.
Don't get excited.
Hold
The
on, Joe, you might
ratings
wanna
are
take a
going
break.
through the roof now. You're brave, Layla, doing that right next to Skully. She might grab you. You know? Yeah, I mean. Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
Totally
That's
badass. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Very cool.
Very, very nice. Very, very, very nice. I love it. I love it.
I'd have to say that one's my favorite.
That's my favorite, too.
It's not the biggest or the most ornate, but it is. I got that because anyone who's seen me perform live knows that I do a little bit of belly dance.
Yeah, you do. And I love that you do.
Thank you. That was
Before you get the pants totally done, are you going to not show us the one on your butt?
Say what?
You're not going to show us the one on your butt while you have the pants
still
on?
in progress, man. I
okay.
don't show tattoos before they're done.
You're right. I understand.
The
I do love that piece, by the way, though. That's awesome. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's my favorite mostly because when I get going, you know, when
Right
it's
on.
moving the way that I meant for it to go, it really works.
That's awesome.
I never get tired of watching that thing move.
Well, I was thinking about getting a sailboat on my gut, see? That way when I get that going.
Right.
You know, it looks like it's putting in the miles. You know?
Well, good thing that's going.
Yeah, it's going all right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's good shit. What about you, Joe? On your personal being, do you have a piece that you are most proud of, sir? Is there one that, when you think of the tattoos on your body, is there one that comes to mind first, or are they just kind of all blend together at this point?
At this point, I think they really blend together.
Like literally, right? Like they literally blend together on your skin.
I mean, probably the ones that have the most significant meaning to me are the ones that are, you know, like for my kids or family members, things like that.
Yeah.
Other than that, just for sheer badassness, some of the bigger ones.
Right.
Yeah, like my back piece and stuff like that. Those are fun.
Do you mind if I ask what you have on your back? I love back pieces.
I've got a Rock of Ages.
Right? Nice.
The old shipwreck with the girl clinging to the cross.
Nice. Very cool.
Super traditional.
I saw on Facebook recently you were doing a guy's tattoo that on his 50th birthday, he has a vine running across him, and he's added a leaf every year.
Right.
The Vine of Life, he's called it. That's a pretty cool idea. Is that? Are there other ideas that mark years that you know of, or?
Yeah, some people do like hash marks and stuff like that. You know, get a couple for every year. You know.
I actually, when I was younger, I had it in mind to do the vine idea. I like ivy is a big thing to me, so I wanted an ivy vine that grew, you know, like a leaf every year or a leaf or two or something like that.
Yeah, the guy
I don't remember when I abandoned that idea.
The guy getting the vine, that's Jimmy Haha from Jimmy's Chicken Shack.
Oh, wow, okay.
There you go.
Very cool. All right.
Yeah,
it all ties back to music, baby.
Yep.
You know, speaking of which, you know, this shop here is owned by my main man over there, Frankie Orange, who's got history with Metallica and a bunch of bands, don't you, brother? You've run the gamut a little bit.
Nice.
So if you are a metalhead, this is a shop that's geared to you. You know what I mean? There's some great metal art in here. You know, what'd you do with your guitars you had on the wall? Where'd they go? They still on the walls, or you take them home? Take them home. I don't blame you. But yeah, this is a great metal shop, man. I truly love this place you got here, brother, for sure. Good stuff. So, well, let me ask you this: we talked about would you put a tattoo on some beef curtains earlier? What is the craziest body part you've tattooed, sir?
I think you judge craziest not necessarily by, you know, what is the most obscene or vulgar place you can put one, but, you know, because those are kind of too easy. Right. But I put the name of a mental hospital across the guy's forehead once. So
Wow, that is crazy.
I'd say that's probably the craziest.
That qualifies as
right
crazy.
up there,
Yeah.
like literally.
Yeah.
Do you ever think to yourself?
Very literally.
Yeah, right. When someone comes in and says, "Will you put a tattoo on my forehead?" Do you ever think to yourself, like, do you give them any warning, or is there any like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Or are you like,
yeah, you give them a little bit of warning, but there are some people that you can just tell by the look in their eye that
they've made their mind up?
They're crazy and they need to be marked.
In a way, you're doing humanity a service when you tattoo those people on the face. You know.
Right.
I am. I think it is community service. You know?
Indeed. Yeah. Joe, what kind of tattoos do you refuse?
I don't do racist shit. I don't do gang shit.
Nice, okay.
Stuff like that. It's just, it's not worth the time.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. Don't need to be associated with those people.
Is there anything off the wall recently that you've refused, like something not obvious? Like
No, for the most part, it's been pretty good around here. We don't have a whole lot of that around here.
Sweet. Okay.
You know, it's pretty standard fare. I do a lot of Japanese and a lot of traditional, and I don't get a lot of people coming in asking for really weird shit.
Right, very good. Does anyone ever have you ever had someone come to you and say, just blind tattoo, just do whatever you want, just surprise me?
Well,
Other than Crypt?
a lot of people will say, you know, just do your thing, whatever you want, but they don't really mean that.
Right, exactly. That's kind of why I'm asking. Like, how do you handle
do your
that?
thing, you know, you're the artist, but I need it to be, you know, this little bird about the size of a quarter, and
Right.
you have 6 feathers
With
on each
with
wing.
red, green, blue, and yellow feathers.
You know, but do your thing. You're the artist.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
What is?
Well, I was gonna say this tattoo that you're doing now. He basically gave you the character and then like said, "Have at it."
Right.
So
Yeah, I mean that's generally the best way to do it.
It is, yeah, and that is the better way to do it because actually, it's funny that we were talking about this. This piece that I just showed you guys, it was very similar to that. I came into my artist and I showed him what I thought I wanted, which was something that I kind of designed, and I'm not great at actual like drawing, so I knew he was going to have to clean it up a bit and actually make it look nice. But I still
like it looked like a leaf.
Well,
mine wouldn't.
The leaf was the easy part. It was the stuff around it that I was trying to get a little creative with, and I thought it looked good, and I showed it to him, and he was like, "You wanted it exactly like that?" I saw the look on his face. So I was like, "All right, let's back this up," because he's a great artist. He's not just a tattoo artist. He's also a painter. So I knew if I said to him, "All right, listen, I belly dance, and the whole purpose of this piece is to accentuate my obliques and look good when I move." So with that in mind,
he knew what to do. Right.
And
there you go.
the leaf at this point was the only thing that was my original idea. The rest of it, he hand drew it and just right on my skin. He was like, "All right, let's see here." And he was an anatomy enthusiast. So I trusted him to know what I meant when I said.
Right, yeah, the muscles and what needed to be highlighted.
Exactly,
and,
yeah.
Perfect.
So there's really nothing better than having an artist you can trust because you probably can't come up with as good of an idea on your own unless you're an artist.
You cannot.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, one of the things that I had to learn. See, I'm someone who had 50 million tattoos before I was 18 that I got in somebody's basement.
Right.
So it was a long time before I got a real tattoo. Right, I had to fix a bunch of them. Joe has helped me cover a bunch of those said tattoos at this point, but when I made the jump to real actual tattoos in a shop where which is the only way to go, by the way. But my biggest learning curve was paper and skin are different. You can't look at something on paper and think that's going to show up on your skin like that. But lines overlap and things like that, you just can't.
True. Yeah.
The first time I sent something to Joe, he was like, "Yeah, if I put that on your arm, it's going to look like a big bunch of black lines. It's not going to work."
Yeah.
And you really have to work with your tattoo artist. But that's where what you're saying comes into play. Having someone you trust is all the... I said to Joe, let's do the Night Gaunt. Oh, speaking of which, I guess we didn't really cover that so much in the show so far. If you follow along with us on social media, then you knew exactly what we were doing as far as the tattoo goes tonight.
Right.
But if you don't... Yeah. We put it out to a vote several months ago at this point. The left arm on the Crypt is going to be my H.P. Lovecraft arm. We started with the Cthulhu monster, which I'll show you later in the show, which Joe did, covering up some shitty tattoos I got when I was younger with Cthulhu, by the way. Right. But we are now adding the Night Gaunt. We put a bunch of H.P. Lovecraft monsters out there for you all to vote on for the next H.P. Lovecraft piece we would get. And honestly, we put the poll out there on Twitter and... Facebook and all these, and Night Gaunt ran away with it in every single poll. It wasn't even close.
It was took it away from the get go.
Right, immediately. Yeah, like it was
stood a chance. Yeah,
lap in the field. So
it wasn't my vote.
We knew.
I forget what the name was too, but you and I voted for the same one.
Yeah,
I remember
My Little Pony.
Yeah.
But the one
My
with
Little
fangs.
Pony's next week. Right.
It was the My Little Pony with fangs.
The vampire version.
I actually have a friend of mine who has a My Little Pony serial killer on her arm.
Oh, that's very cool.
A My Little Pony holding like a butcher's knife, and she's just killed a Care Bear, and she's wearing the Care Bear's head on her head.
Yeah, that's way cool.
Yeah, and the My Little Pony is like stitched up. It's just really badass looking.
See, you were saying earlier how you can get a tattoo on something that's very trendy, and then when the trend goes away, you kind of don't like it anymore. But I tend to like that. I tend to like things that are obscure, that are kind of forgotten. A buddy of mine, one of my buddy's favorite tattoos, he's got the spy versus spy on the back of both thighs, the black one and the white one on, either thigh.
All right.
For some reason, I've just always loved those tattoos. I think that's cool.
That's neat.
I grew up on Mad Magazine, so it's always been cool to me. But I dig it. So, in a minute though, we're gonna lay you both out on the table and start putting tattoos on both of you guys, right?
I wish.
There we go. Well, I guess I'll tell you what. Let's play another song and then come back and talk a little bit more. I do want to get into a couple of crazy stories I read this week, including this goofy thing that happened in Florida with this guy that told his bird how to talk. So we'll talk about that on the other side.
Okay.
There's your teaser. But what's coming up next, Skully? I don't have my playlist.
Wolf Down.
You know what? We got a double shot actually coming up at everybody. Oh. You know what? I'm super excited about this band, even though they did break up. But this fucking song makes me want to run through a wall. There are certain songs that they get me going. And I decided to stick two of them back to back for you guys right here on the show tonight, man. So check out some Wolf Down, some
Pressure
just straight from the Pack song is just silly, and Pressure Cracks, awesome. Mm-hmm. So Check out these jams. Don't go nowhere. We're going to be here all night doing ink, doing metal, and doing your hump day at Metal-O-Mania. There you go.
Doing your hump.
I think I want you to fuck me in my ass.
On the count of 5, you can remove your fear goggles. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fuck me.
Fair play. Fair fucking play.
The weirdest place I ever tattooed, well, it wasn't the butthole.
what the fuck did you mean when you said you felt sorry for me? Every word it meant nothing to me when you feigned that sympathy. You feel sorry for me! Oh, motherfuck!
You're cracking up. You understand? You're fucking
Well,
wacko?
don't even bother to send me the bill for all the broken furniture that just happened in all of your homes while you listen to those jams, man, because it's just not my fault. You know, I might be the impetus, but I'm still not to blame. But yeah,
what?
Kick-ass fucking jams, right? Yeah.
We need to add a disclaimer.
Yeah.
To the bottom of our show.
We're going to put in a thesaurus thing there.
Right.
But have you guys...
I just have to say, I'm sorry, because I have to say this. We're on chairs that have rollerblade wheels.
Yeah,
right now,
you are.
and so
we literally have to hold on. So.
Staying in the frame is tough.
You're trying to roll away?
So if
Do you want me to tape you guys in?
You might have to. If you see me occasionally going, whoa, that's what happened.
Hey, let's tape the ladies to each other. We can wrap tape around y'all, and y'all can be the,
Right.
Siamese Bopsy twins.
Well, we both have the same problem, so we'll just both roll away from the table together.
Yeah. I
Supposed to be like,
love
what?
it.
Is it something I said? Like, no, we're done.
We talk every week about. Do you have cats, Layla?
I have had cats. I don't currently.
You got cats, Joe?
I got a dog.
Oh yeah, I got one of each. But we do we've talked a lot on the show, as you know, and over the years.
What is it with metalheads and cats?
Metalheads and cats. There's just something there, something going on. But I was following a story involving a metalhead with a parrot that he has this week in Florida. Did anybody catch this story?
I did not.
Pretty goofy. Do you know what I'm talking about, Joe? So police were called in Palm Beach County in Florida.
Okay.
Because there was a house where there was a supposed victim inside screaming for help repeatedly.
Oh, no. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I see where this is going.
Yeah. The neighbors called the police and said, I don't know what my neighbor's up to, but somebody's in this house yelling over going, help me, help me, help me.
God. Help me.
Yeah, it was a parrot.
You should be allowed to kill that parrot at
Yeah,
that
right.
point.
Somebody's going to be dying soon.
They
that's
broke
for
in
sure.
and shot the parrot. No, I'm kidding.
I was like, whoa.
What, was
that
the parrot
escalated
black?
quickly.
But it was a
Whoa.
living in America joke there, ladies and gentlemen. But
Just
yeah, it was
being
rough.
real. Keeping it real. Sorry.
I heard a little inside. But yeah, I'll tell you what, that's hilarious to me. I laughed my ass off when I read that story. It turned out that it was the dude's parrot yelling for help. He had told him to yell for help.
Why would you
at
teach
first
a
he
parrot
said
that?
the parrot watched lots of horror movies is where he picked it up, and then finally he said,
Sure.
yeah, I taught it to him and thought it would be funny.
All right.
So what would you teach your parrot to say, Joe?
Yeah, God. What would Crypt teach
I like
his
to
parrot
ask people
say?
questions that
Oh
are
my
beyond
God.
fucked up on the spot where you have no answer. So
Can you teach parrots to imitate being quiet?
no, I don't know if you can. I tried
Polly,
for a
say
long time
this.
to teach kids to do that unsuccessfully. So right. But yeah, apparently. But side note, the bird's name Rambo.
Oh.
Rambo, badass bird named Rambo.
There you go.
So there you go. Much
Rambo
love
would
to you.
never call for help. What's that all about?
So another big story that caught our attention this week. Did you see the story that Ozzy was on his deathbed earlier in the week?
I
For
saw
like the
something that
dozenth
looked
time
like
or
it hadn't been verified yet. It looked
It's
like
bullshit.
a rumor.
Yeah,
okay,
it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Exactly. Say that again.
Thought he was putting a song out with Elton John.
He is
saw
doing
that
exactly
too,
that.
right?
That is a true story.
That is a true story. What?
He is. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
He's working on a song with
I
Elton
was
John
joking,
right now.
Sorry.
Well, he's got that new song called Alive that he put out. So when he heard all the rumors that he was on his deathbed, he responded and tweeted out, I'm doing fine, and played the song Alive for everybody, which I do think is pretty funny. Ozzy's the man.
That's hilarious.
But oh my goodness, though, on the topic of Ozzy, do you know how much shit I have gotten from Ozzy fans out there because I don't like the new Ozzy stuff?
All right.
Oh my God.
It's a cult. You can't talk.
Yeah, you can't talk bad about
Heaven
Ozzy.
forbid
But
you don't
I love Ozzy. Ozzy's a god to me. Always will be. I will worship that dude far past him being gone.
Totally, yeah.
But I think the new stuff sucks.
Everybody reaches their
Nadir.
passes their prime.
That's right.
Everybody
right.
does.
Well, I would make a strong argument that a lot of Ozzy could be considered pop.
Right?
I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Am I wrong there? Shot in the Dark is a pop song.
I wouldn't disagree.
Yeah.
I feel like there comes a point where, okay, how do I say this politely?
You don't have to be polite. You're on Metal-O-Mania.
Right. Well, let's talk about Metallica for a second.
Oh yeah, good old hot can of beans. You got Frankie here, so be careful.
Do I have to say anymore, really?
Right.
There just comes a point where I think artists just kind of run out of the original stuff that was lighting their fires and
hunger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And they just,
I've heard the argument made when Metallica being when the argument was being made to me, Metallica was the model child for it, being though that bands lose something when they're not hungry anymore. Would you agree with that?
Well, yeah. I mean, because a lot of the best music that we all connect with comes from, I mean, to put it bluntly, discontent.
Right.
Something's wrong. So you're angry, or you're hurt, or you're sad, or you're, when life is going Jim fucking peachy, you don't really have much to write about.
Right. It is tougher to write. That's true. Yeah. What the old saying is, heartache and strife is the best ingredients for art, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
well,
true.
And I'll keep going back to it. Pink, even though she's not metal, obviously, but she says I'm useless when I'm happy. I just can't write anything.
Honestly, that's something I've taken heat on before. I'm on the record. I think Pink is a hell of an artist.
Oh, Pink's amazing.
Yeah.
Pink is absolutely.
Writes her own stuff. How rare is that these days in the pop world? You know what I mean?
Stuff.
That's
it's
right.
Constantly reinventing herself, constantly pushing herself and coming up with new ideas. I mean, I don't care what genre of music you're in. That's the ticket right there.
Right, absolutely.
Keep it fresh.
And on the topic of putting out a pop single, when is your pop single coming out, Joe?
Next week.
Next week. I believe it was called I Don't Tattoo Buttholes is actually the name of that song. So
is that true, Joe?
Is that true, Joe?
Do you actually not tattoo buttholes? I mean, come on.
Hey, for the right price. He's made it very clear, for the right price. We've established he's a whore. We're just negotiating price at this point. No, I kid you, Joe. But sorry. I threw my own self off there, but that's good shit, man. But no, I do love Ozzy, and I always will love Ozzy, and save your hate mail for somebody else. I don't care. If it's titled "Fuck you for dissing Ozzy," I'm gonna delete it.
You can still love the artist without liking their latest work.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
come on, you know.
Couldn't agree more.
Yep.
So, what's next?
Where are we? Hang on.
Lost Society.
Lost Society. This one is one. This is a special song for Skully, actually.
Yeah, I like this one. Nice.
This song has a special
I like to play it loud at
place.
work and sing along, and then be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, was I being too loud?"
Right. My apologies. Well, when I think of us doing this show, we've been doing this show for about 3 years now, believe it or not, which is crazy. Tonight being our 150th episode. It's bananas. But one of the first thoughts, when I think of Skully's involvement in the show, honestly, my first thought that comes to mind is this song. This song years ago when we played this song when it first came out, this was the first song ever that Skully literally ran into the studio like, whoa, what was that? Play that again. That's all. I like it, and play it again, play it loud. So I had to play this one for Skully tonight on our fucking Metal-O-Mania tattoo episode, and that's right. We're going to bring you a little Lost Society. Right on. So check it out. Little ride for everybody. You guys riot. I'm going to get some more ink. Don't go nowhere. We got a lot more stuff. We got the interview with Red Death coming up soon, man. Nice. What a badass band they are, too, man.
Yeah,
good stuff. So there you go. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
Enough's enough, we're living in an illusion. It's time for a revolution. We're broken down, don't even try to hide it. Rich and piss on bias, not a fucking riot. Enough's enough, we're living in an illusion. It's time for a revolution. We're broken down, don't even try to hide it. Rich and piss on bias, not a fucking riot. You'll never silence me. You and your heresy. Sound the sirens, now it's on. We're here and we belong. If you wanna scream, I'll scream. If you wanna fight, I'll fight. We are the ones who will rise back on top. We are the ones who don't give a fuck. Tune into the side of the future. We're moving and we won't go back. We're living proof of a world that has left.
Oh man, so yeah, Skully ran through the tattoo shit, played breaking shit a minute ago while that song played. But I've got some friends that have a theory that girls who like tattoos love anal. What do you ladies say?
I think that might just be a little bit of a coincidence here. I don't think there's any actual connection there.
And I have no tattoos, so.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. See? Proof's in the pudding, I suppose.
That's hilarious.
Sorry.
So, yeah. There
the figurative pudding.
Lots of theories that used to be associated with tattoos that I find are less so these days. Wouldn't you agree?
Right. What else?
Well, I mean, it definitely used to be more of a kind of a street
taboo,
punk taboo thing than it is now.
Yeah, it's definitely now like your grandma's got tattoos.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Mainstream. Yeah, my dad, who flipped out at my first tattoo, now likes my tattoos, wants to see them, wants to photograph them.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
He thinks they're really cool.
Yeah, I think if my old man would have lasted 10 more years, he would have got a tattoo before it was all said and done.
Yeah.
When I pierced my ear when I was 12 years old, I pierced my own ear, and my dad called me every name you ever heard of, and then 10 years later, he had a pierced ear. So there you go.
Nice.
Yep. So welcome to the club, Pop.
Slow to come around, but yeah.
Hey, that's me. I'm usually slow to come around,
Well, that's different.
I was going to say, I worked really hard to get slow at coming around. You know what I mean?
That takes concentration.
A lot of practice.
Appreciate your efforts. Most guys study for tests.
Yeah, right. I never bothered with that shit. Who needs that information?
He knows what's important.
I need information to make my wife stay. You know what I mean? Speaking of which, so how did you stay? I've gotten that question a lot lately. How the hell did you stay with me when I was over 400 pounds, Skully? What the fuck was going on there?
That's way too deep of a conversation.
You should not ask.
I mean, it just happened gradually. It really.
I'm kidding. I just brought that up to bring up
didn't.
again that I lost a bunch of weight.
I didn't realize. It was as bad as it
How
was.
did you stay with him? I would say, how would you stay with him after he lost all that weight? I would feel like you're not the same person anymore.
Well, I told her now that I'm skinny, I got to go get a girlfriend, and fuck,
Right?
I got to go,
Put a little heat on her, right?
That's right. Well, I did that when I was heavy. I put a whole lot of heat on her when I was heavy. So there you go.
He's getting around
Literally.
more now. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, there you go.
Now when she runs, he can actually chase her.
Yeah. I can't catch her still.
Yeah,
but
I
I
used
can
to run my mouth a lot more.
Yeah, right. That's a fucked up joke, man. You hear this, Joe? Hey, Joe, back me up. I'm a nice guy, right? Yeah, nobody believes that shit, man. Everybody knows that she can run faster with her dress up than I can with my pants down. So there you go. Another one to Pop. There you go. Shout out to Pop. But so I do want to get back a little bit more into the fact that this shop we're in tonight has been open and running for 10 years, you guys. That's a hell of a thing.
That's awesome.
In today's climate where things seem to be opening and closing every 12 minutes, I mean,
right.
We literally have a store down the street from us that in the 10 years it was a tattoo shop at one point, which is what makes me think of it, but it was a card collectible store at one point. It was
like a magic store.
Magic card store, right? You sold the Pokemon cards in there. This place is something different every 5 minutes. So
it tried to be
hanging around 10 years is an accomplishment, brother.
CBD.
Oh, right. They were trying to sell the CBD thing for a minute, and that didn't work. And so hanging around for 10 years. If I had to ask you what was the number one reason you guys got some legs and some staying power, Joe, what might you label that, sir?
What's your secret?
Got roots in the area, and we don't have anybody here who's not got experience.
Right.
That's huge.
In other words,
quality work.
Professionalism.
10 years in the business, so it's good.
Yeah, you got experience. You've got truly, top shelf artists. And let's be honest, if you are watching this show, you're a metalhead. This place certainly has its metal street cred, as it were. Frankie ran the streets with fucking Metallica for a bunch of years over there.
Nice.
And this fucker's doing artwork for bands and everything else, man. Oh yeah, if you want to shine in on some of this
it's coming
Joe's
along.
artwork here, it's
Coming
pretty
right
badass,
along.
man. You are a badass, Joe.
You're a little pink.
Yep.
You're a little pink.
Excuse you.
You're welcome.
You mean little.
Yeah, you do good work, brother. You're good
so
shit.
what Crypt's not going to tell you, I don't know if you can see it, like for a minute when we came back from the song, he wanted the camera on our faces because Joe was at his wrist at that part, and he was talking like this.
Yes, I was.
And it wasn't very attractive, so he said, put it on the girls.
The wrist is a little touchy. Joe, it's now a good place for me to show everybody Cthulhu real fast. Can I show everybody Cthulhu real fast? Is that all right?
Yeah, if y'all haven't been watching the show long enough to see the Cthulhu, you got to see this.
This is one of Joe's pieces.
Beautiful piece of
I'm
art.
going to resist the urge to flex because I have no guns. But yeah, that's a beautiful piece there, man. It's truly my favorite piece, Joe. I love it. I love it.
It is beautiful.
I meant to shine it up a little bit before I showed everybody, but this will be the H.P. Lovecraft arm. We're going to do all H.P. Lovecraft. It's good stuff.
H.P. Lovecraft sleeve. I love it.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. I'm going to have a sports arm and an H.P. Lovecraft arm. I'm a weirdo.
All right. No, that's a nice
drink
mix.
too. So.
Yeah, what I'm into, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
It should be reflective.
I'm going to be the person who points at your H.P. Lovecraft arm and goes, I like that one.
I hope so.
I'm not much into the sports thing, but I dig me some Lovecraft.
No, you don't dig the sports thing at all, even, are you? You are a sporting individual.
Let me put it this way. I appreciate athleticism. I love watching athletes kick ass.
And you are
I
someone
love
who
that.
does a lot of mountain biking, that sort of thing. You're a very
Absolutely, yeah.
physical, out there kind of
I'll
person.
sit there and I'll watch a football game or a baseball game, and I will just be impressed as shit at these athletes doing some amazing shit, but I will not pick a team and get upset when one of them loses.
Well, sometimes
that's not how I do.
I do like to watch you and Skully wrestle, but that's a different thing.
That's some athleticism right there,
Right,
too, right?
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
good
she's
stuff.
a badass, you know?
If we had film for that, our ratings would go through the roof. But anyway.
I haven't been able to pin her yet. She's slippery.
Slippery is a good word. I love that word. What do you think, Joe? When they were wrestling earlier, that was pretty cool, right? Yeah, we needed a ring with mud, but
It's always a draw. We always that's why we keep doing it. We meant to do it once.
Well,
but
you know what's funny about it is you guys have wrestled 50 times, and I seem to win every time.
I'm sure, yeah.
Every time.
And you never even lift a finger.
Yeah, and I'm never in there. That's right. Yeah, good stuff. But so when's your next piece you're going to do, Layla? I know you're a big tattoo buff like me. They are infectious, aren't they? It's one of those things where you just can't.
They are, yeah. I just kind of it killed my groove when my artist moved. Matt Kiley, I'm talking to you if you're watching.
Now, you are a long distance from this shop, I understand. So
I'm a decent distance. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't like traveling an hour or so wouldn't bother me, but
Right.
like my artist moved to I think I forget, like Massachusetts. I
Oh.
forget exactly where. He's up in
shit.
New England.
Yeah.
so
It's like an
In New
8 hour.
England.
right, yeah, and so ever since then it's been like it hasn't really been a matter of I'm not going to have anyone else do it. It's really just kind of been ever since he moved. Like I knew he was moving, so I finished up everything I had on the drawing board at the time,
Awesome.
like really fast.
Awesome.
And after he left, I just kind of stopped thinking about it. It just
Well,
stopped being a priority.
Between you and me, I know a guy.
Right? Yeah.
I know a guy.
I hear you do.
I got a guy.
We'll have to talk about it later.
Yeah, and honestly, let me ask you that. That brings something to mind. You know, we were recently out of town, Skully and I, and while we were out of town, something I thought about doing, there was a tattoo shop up the street, and I was like, man, I'm going to go get a goofy tattoo to mark being in North Carolina for the week or whatever. And Skully was like, Joe will kill you. You know?
Joe, is that true?
Is that something that you guys think about?
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, as long as you're going to go and get it by somebody who's decent.
Right.
That's more
Yeah.
what I said. You're
Don't-
literally going to
don't-
go to some guy random.
Don't say, I get tattoos by Joe at Orange, and then they see this piece of crap, and you never mentioned Joe didn't do that.
Right. That's important something to think about. You want to give individual credit because I won't lie, I've become very Joe. Joe's my guy. You want,
Right, yeah.
If people bring up tattoos, I'm like JOWEONE's my guy. But
yeah,
you know,
well, when-
go to Joe.
When my guy
You
Matt
know.
was still in the area, I was absolutely the
Right.
same way. I brought him some business because I was so thrilled, with his work. And if he were back here, I would obviously, I'd probably have quite a few more tattoos by now.
Right on.
I just can't afford to travel on top of it.
Who the hell cares? Right.
People do though. People.
Oh,
really
yeah.
Guys, if any of y'all are hopping on the chat board or on the Facebook Live, let us know what's the farthest you've traveled for a good tattoo. Please let us know.
Well, that brings up a buddy of mine, Chris. I won't share his last name because I didn't get his permission to tell the story, I guess. But I have a friend of mine who dug out a bunch of old portrait pictures of his relatives, old school. Like, he's got a lot of Indians, like portrait pictures of them in full headdress and things like that.
Oh,
and he's decided to turn those portraits into, he's covering his body with them.
Nice.
And he goes, obviously, to people who are known for portrait work. And that's something very individual to a tattoo artist. Are you someone who does portrait work, Joe?
No, I don't do portrait work.
Right on. I find that seems to be very almost a niche kind of a thing. But so he will travel. I mean, he's gone to Texas. He's gone to all over the place to get
Portraits
people
are
that
something
know
you don't
portraits.
Want screwed up because it's so easy to do, so obvious. The littlest screw ups makes the whole thing look grotesque.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know if I included it in my clip package tonight. I like to include goofy things about tattoos in the show tonight because we're here. But there is one clip, and I can't remember if I included it or not. But the guy gets Angelina Jolie's face portrait tattooed on his arm. Have you seen this?
No, I don't think I have.
He's holding the picture of Angelina Jolie's face while they unveil the tattoo, pull the wrapping off of it. Maybe her cousin that's missing a chromosome or 7. And I mean, it is awful, and it's forever.
Yes,
it's
you can't undo that.
it's terrible. It's quite an embarrassment. man.
However, let me ask. This is a good question to bring up right now, Joe. So, like having tattoo artist friends, and of course talking to my artists, I keep hearing about people who they'll come in, they'll get a tattoo, they're not quite happy with it, so they get it fixed a little bit. They want this fixed, they want that fixed. I'm like, fixed? What do you mean by fixed? How do you fix a tattoo? Is that like? Talk to me about that.
It depends what's wrong with the tattoo. I mean, sometimes it could be things where line work's shaky or the color's not solid, things like that.
So you just like color it in a little more?
Some of that stuff you
or,
can
like-
fix. Like you can go over and clean up the lines, make them nicer, crisper, put some color back into things. And
Okay.
then there are some things that you just can't fix.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because I was always under the impression that if you get a bad tattoo, if you look down at it, too bad. Learn to love it.
That's right. Yeah, they got laser removal nowadays
That
too.
is true.
Which,
Yeah, they do have that.
Makes it a lot easier.
Which, well, and I also imagine it's quite a bit more expensive than just getting it covered.
I mean, depending where you go, it can definitely add up real fast.
Right.
Do you know of anyone who's done it?
I know a few people who have gotten laser removal stuff done.
Right.
Does it leave a scar? Does it leave kind of blank? Does it?
Done right, it doesn't leave scarring.
Well, how
It
about that?
will remove it. It's just a lot of sessions and a lot of time in between for it to do its job.
It removes the pigmentation in the skin, though, too, right? Doesn't it?
From what I've seen, if it's done right, no.
Interesting. Okay. Good to know. So how about that, gang? You can get whatever you want tattooed, and now, thanks to modern technology, you can simply get it erased.
You can just erase it.
Yep.
Now there's white out for tattoos.
So go for it. Get that anus on your belly button.
Well, you know, I have tried for years now to get Skully to put property of the Crypt around her asshole, but she will not do it.
Well, see, now you can. I almost talked Tina into doing it last week or whatever.
Yeah, right. She was like, Tina, will you please get my husband's name on your asshole so I don't have to do it?
Right? Yeah, right. She'll do it.
I was like, that's how I know I married the right woman. She's asking other women to put my name on their asshole. So.
Just so he can get it out of his system, please.
Good Lord.
He just wants his name on an ass.
Yeah, I really do. Jody, you got a spot on
No
your
one's
ass?
going to see it anyway.
I
I
have no
mean,
room
just
on my
come on. What'd you say?
I asked him if he had a spot on his ass. He said, no, I have no room on my ass.
Right.
I predicted that answer.
Absolutely none.
No room in the manger.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's fucked up, man. Well, I got a couple bits we'll get into later. I guess we'll talk about some of that shit. That's too much to get into now. So I guess, do you want to play that? Do you want to go to Red Death? Talk to the Red Death guys?
Yeah.
I am going to tell you guys out there right now, one of my favorite fucking things is this Red Death release. It is insane good. It is. I was as soon as I heard it, I was like, man, I'm getting these guys on the show. I can't wait to talk to them. And as it turns out, cool fucking guys, man. Awesome band, awesome dudes. We will definitely be doing something live with these guys. They're going to come in and co-host a show with us. They're right here local out of Tacoma Park, Maryland.
Awesome. That is so cool.
I would like to them. They're very interested in coming in and setting up here at Orange Tattoo and doing something in the future. Nice. They would have been here tonight, honestly, if they weren't on the road doing a show. They're doing 2 shows this weekend and very running. Nice. And if you get a chance to see them live, please do that. Red Death, they're silly, great, badass, man. They're crossover, they're thrash, they're groove, they're all these great things all balled into one. And let's check it out, man. We had a sit-down chat with them, and we're going to play it for you all right here, right now on Metal-O-Mania. There you go.
Hey, this is Chaz from Red Death here, and you're listening to Metal-O-Mania with the Crypt and Skully.
Try to chain against the turning. My will is a blow.
gynecologist. I definitely don't want my butthole tattooed.
We cannot hear you. Is your mic off?
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Haha, there we go. So here you go. I just won the Turret Award.
You did.
I appear to have brought the Red Death song with us to Orange Tattoo tonight, but not the interview part.
Fail.
Totally on me, you guys. I promise that what I will do is share that on next week's show, and I'll share it on social media tonight when I get home.
That would be amazing.
And I apologize for that because it's such a cool interview too, man. I loaded things up on a zip drive to come out here to Annapolis, Maryland, and I apparently brought the song and not the fucking interview. I know, man. Well, you know what's fucked up too? I got about 30,000 things. Every week for the show, that's a little insight into the show. Every week for the show, I make an interview. I make a folder, and it's the name of the folder is always the band we're interviewing that week. And by the time the show airs, there's a fucking million things in every goddamn one of them, boy. You know, remakes and redos and reburns and. But I think Layla, I think you nailed it. Part of the. I'm going to hold this for the whole break, by the way.
I see that. It's throwing me off. It's the only turd I've ever seen that looks like a dildo.
Yeah, right.
It does.
You could come on this turd.
No, really, no, I can't.
Well,
I couldn't.
I love that.
Absolutely
I love
couldn't.
that somebody took the time to put a piece of corn in there.
Yeah,
you notice that?
I saw the corn. Is it the only
Yeah.
corn?
No, there's another one on the other side. There's another one.
That's a very well
It's
done.
got 3 corns.
Can I say well done?
That's a well done piece of shit.
Very well done turd.
And you might, a well done piece of shit. You might say that about our show.
It's a dill turd.
You know, that might be the way you describe our show. A well done piece of shit.
Well done piece of shit. Yeah.
There you go. But I apologize to the dudes in Red Death. We will definitely make sure that interview is out there everywhere.
Well, see, now
they're
they
just
get
great
to
guys.
get
Extra exposure.
airtime 2 weeks in a
There
row.
you go.
There you
That's
go.
right.
Yeah, so they get double.
And you will do yourself a favor by picking up their discography, truly. Formidable Darkness came out 2 years ago. It was one of my favorite albums of 2017, and Sickness Divine shapes up to be one of my favorite albums of 2019. So stay on what they're doing, and if they're coming anywhere near you, please do go check them out and support the band. They're badasses. Absolute badassery. So let's talk some shit, you guys, because we just lost 20 minutes of airtime without my fucking Red Death.
Shit. Pick up the shit.
Yeah, let's talk some
shit.
talk to some
Talk
shit.
Can I?
Are you taking a little break or something? What's happening here right now?
With what?
Did you need
With
a
your
break?
arm?
Yeah, we were supposed to go on a break outside for a minute while we played the Red Death interview.
Well, do you want to play the next song and take a second?
Well, all right, yeah, let's do
We
that.
getting spontaneous up in here,
Yeah.
y'all. Just
We're going to
put on your seatbelts.
Well, again, part of the appeal to our show, I think,
It
and
is.
I think Layla nailed it when she said, "We fuck things up. We came, we saw, we fuck things
That's not
up."
what I
you
said.
know.
What I said was that
Get
the
your shit
appeal of
together.
this show is what metalhead have any of us met that has ever have any of us ever had our shit together? Any of us?
For an extended period
Yeah,
of time.
look, I
I'm
just
waiting.
showed you.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's
so you
all
got
one
your shit.
piece.
We
It's
go.
all one piece, man.
Finally, somebody's got their shit together, right? Right in his hand, right there.
If it was that big, could you get it all out at once in one piece? All right, yeah, let's change the subject.
Is
Anyway,
that a challenge?
you know what? We will play the next song, but I want to talk.
I'd be like, hey, come here, look.
I want to talk quickly.
I'm not gonna flush it yet. Y'all come here and look.
That's a big old nasty sucker. I want to get our people watching live on the board involved with the topic a little bit as we move forward in the show, and we will go outside, take a break, and do all that shit in a second. But I started writing down, me and a buddy of mine. Well, as you know, many of the bits we do on the show start with me and a buddy of mine sitting around getting a little baked up and talking stupid shit, and this is no exception. We got talking about when people say certain things, what they obviously are saying it to you. They mean to tell you something. But over years and experience, you learn to hear it differently than they intended. You know what I mean? Right. So we came up with a little goofy thing, and I'd like to hear some input from our viewers. Okay. When people say blank, what I hear is blank. Okay. You know what I mean? Let me give you an example.
I was just going to say, give me an example.
When people say, I'm the person that says what everybody else is thinking, what I hear is, you're a cunt. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
You're the difficult asshole that when I hear somebody at work say, my boss is a fucking asshole, what I hear is, you're lazy.
Yeah, I don't like to work,
right,
or I don't like authority.
The people who work hard,
most of us don't,
always seem to like the boss. You ever notice that? That's a
Right?
weird coincidence that happens.
I do.
You know what I mean?
Love my boss. I actually love my boss.
The people who hate their boss are always seem to be that
so.
guy that's sneaking off to fucking smoke a joint when he's not supposed to. But so I'm very curious. What are some inputs from some of you guys, though? You know what I mean?
I have to think about that.
When people say blank, what I hear is blank. You know, like Yeah, right. Well, another big one.
Bless your
When
heart,
people say, bless your heart, right, exactly. That's a great
Fuck you.
example.
That's what
Nobody down south means that in a good way when they say bless your heart, right. They're saying fuck you. But another one, and it's kind of one that you led me to think about on Facebook, people who say, all my haters. This goes out to all my haters. Again, what I hear is, I'm a fucking idiot. You know what I mean?
Or I'm an attention whore.
I promise you, no one who's ever used the words hater, you're not important enough to have a hater. I'm sorry to tell you. You're just not. You know, you have people who don't like you. There's a difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's a big difference. You know? So do you...
As far as I know, I think I've got a couple haters. I'm not really 100% sure. None of them have had the balls to come to my face, so I'm not really, don't have that nailed down.
Right on.
Until you come to my face and say some shit, as far as I'm concerned, you don't exist.
See, I have people that hate me, you know what I mean? But I don't think I'm important enough for haters. You know what I mean?
You know,
I don't warrant that. I'm not to that level. Maybe one day.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Even if you do have, anybody who's really getting shit done and earning haters isn't paying attention to whether or not they have haters.
Yeah, right.
There's plenty of people who don't like me, and that's fine. I don't have the time to waste on that.
Whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
That's their loss, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
My concern.
Right. Yep. What, do any come to your mind? Do you guys got any? So you hear a thing and it kind of sets off a thing.
The phrase that I really am getting tired of is I just tell it like it is, or I'm just being honest, or I'm just being real, and I'm just like, you're just too high on your own opinion.
Right, exactly.
You need to shut the fuck up.
Right, who cares about your fucking opinion?
What do you mean? Because people like to say, I just speak the truth. I'm like, the truth according to who?
Right,
Shut the
exactly.
fuck up.
Shut
oh my
the
God.
fuck up.
You know?
People really do need to shut the fuck up a whole lot more.
Really kind of do.
You know?
You know?
It's totally true.
Seriously. It's not that I don't want to know your opinion, but shut the hell up.
I almost made this thing say,
opinion.
when people say words, what I hear is noise. But I decided that was too easy. So I had
accurate, actually.
I had to be more detailed than that.
I'm sorry, what?
My last one I'm going to bring up, and again, I'd like to put it to the board for everybody, but the last one, when I hear the term diss track, such and such is coming out with a diss track, what I hear is I have no talent.
I was like, I didn't even know what the word was.
Yeah. My ears here, I have no talent and don't know how to write a song. So there you go. But speaking of writing a song, I do want to recruit where's my crossover people out there, man? I put my lyrics.
You have been like out there on a street corner.
I have.
With these lyrics.
I've been whoring myself out here, man. What the fuck?
Yep.
Practically begging.
I am. I'm going to keep putting these lyrics out there until they hit somebody right in the creative titties.
Right.
And somebody works with me on this thing. I wrote the song and put the lyrics on there. Well, I don't know. What the fuck was it called again?
Look, that's how important it is.
I would remember if you told me.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It was full of Americana, golden Americana.
The element of despise, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
It's very important to him.
It was so important. I'm writing one right now called The Boy in the Little Slayer Hat. No.
The dirty Slayer hat.
Yeah, the dirty Slayer hat. The hair-covered Slayer hat. I need a new Slayer hat, you guys.
The shrinking boy in the Slayer hat.
That's right. I am officially down 170 fucking pounds, you guys, man. Yeah, a little over 170. Crazy. Crazy.
Awesome. And can I please take a minute to say that you have done this on the keto diet?
I have. You're correct.
Right?
Yes,
I am
I
on
have.
the keto diet. I am a very big advocate of the keto diet, and I often talk about you when I'm trying to tell people how effective it is.
Oh, awesome.
And
I want to be an example for good. I've been an example a lot of times in my life, but never has it been for something good. So.
I can't say enough about keto diet. I'm very much a nerd when it comes to diets, so I'm not going to talk too much about it and bore the shit out y'all who aren't interested in changing your diet. But
I will say people's eyes glass over when I talk to them about my diet.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure that
it's like when I try to talk to them about my fantasy football team. They're like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, shut
up." Whatever.
Yeah, he tried to give our son a speech about what he eats the other day, and I was like, "Oh, so he's been healthy for
he's
6 months
23.
now,
He doesn't
so
care.
He wants
Yeah.
to be able to tell you what to eat. And what
Yeah,
not to
I've been
eat.
healthy for 7 minutes.
I will say that.
I stopped drinking sodas
though, right?
1 year ago, and I know all about how you're supposed to take care of yourself now.
Layla, will you punch her on the cooter?
No.
Please.
No, of course not.
Hey, that's right. It's working though. So you can say what you want, but I'm down to 250 pounds. I haven't been this small since a long time ago. I might have been this size when me and Skully met 21 years ago.
Yeah, you weren't big when we got together and stuff.
Nothing but my junk. But anyway, moving
Some things were
on.
big. Come on. Give me some credit.
Well, somebody said to me earlier, like, man, is your dick growing? I don't know if it is, but it looks like it is. I'll tell you that.
Relative, if it stays the same size and everything else shrinks, it's funny how much bigger it
It
looks.
may be an optical illusion, but I'll take it.
You just couldn't see it before.
That's
so
right. Hey,
yeah.
We can do things with it and make eye contact now. You
Now
know
all
what
of
I mean?
a sudden it sticks out everywhere.
Used to be in a different zip code. I had to call her on the phone. Are you enjoying that over there? You know. Anyway.
I love these jokes.
Yeah, I bet you do. So how you doing, Joe? Holding up good? How's it coming, brother?
He wanted a cigarette, but
I was gonna say,
yeah,
you blew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody left the interview at home. Now Joe can't smoke.
I know. What do you think of the piece we're doing tonight?
Oh, don't worry, I'll keep going.
The fucking interview was my cigarette break, you dick. I do feel like an asshole for that. That's awful. I was so looking forward to sharing the interview too. You know, so
You will.
Skully covered about 98% of what we had to do to get ready for tonight, and I
The one
covered
thing
2%
you had
of it.
to do,
Yeah,
the one job you
and
had.
I fucked the dog on it. You know. As a-
It was bring an interview and sit in a chair.
Yeah,
and honestly, I'm not even doing a good job of sitting in the chair.
Not even.
so.
No, you're wiggling. Joe keeps having to move your arm back.
It's like, fucking dude, work with me.
Tie his arm down.
Help me, help you, help me, help you.
Joe's like, don't bitch when the lines are crooked.
Yeah, right. I'm not fixing it because it's your fault, fucker. So, what are some of the oddest requests you've gotten, if you don't mind my asking, Joe? Have you gotten any just off the wall, like you've got to be out of your fucking mind? Well, I know the mental hospital one. Yeah, I guess that's a pretty good answer for both that question and the earlier question, right?
I think that's really kind of the off the wall.
Well, let me go ahead and
That's
ask.
a pretty good one.
Let me go ahead and ask the
What's
question.
off the wall to me and you is normal to everybody else.
Right.
Off the wall is very subjective.
So much.
It definitely is.
Left to that person's interpretation and what they've been brought up in. Some of the shit, I'm like, why would you get that?
Right.
You know, like names were really popular. People would get their own names tattooed on them. Why?
We know someone who did that, don't we, Gas?
What's the purpose of that, Gas?
Right. I mean, that's just some loser shit right there.
It really is, honestly. For those who don't know, I'll go ahead and tell the story that Layla's alluding to.
I'm not picking on y'all out there who have your names tattooed on you, though. Although, why?
Yeah,
But-
it is silly. You know, when I was 13 years old, I let a friend take a pen, a needle, and India ink, and put my name on my arm, on my upper arm here, where it
So not even
currently
a
is.
good tattoo
No,
of
yeah,
his
it was
name.
awful. Well, for years it looked like it said gas on my arm. And my father used to drive me crazy. You fucking idiot with that tattoo. When are you going to get transmission fluid on your other arm, you goddamn dummy? You know what I mean? You're going to get fucking steering fluid on it, you dumbass, you know? And I deserved it. But
You did.
I got lucky for a while because during the late 80s, there was a popular surfboard company called G&S. So for a while, I was able to say, "Oh, it's GNS," you know, for the surf shit. You know, I'd be in Ocean
'cause you
City and
look
people
like
would be
such
like,
a
"Cool
surfer.
I was
tat,"
gonna
or
say,
yeah,
of
yeah.
course you just scream surfing.
Yeah, with my mohawk.
Right.
You know, so.
His chain.
Yeah.
Hold my chain while I grab my surfboard, please.
Yeah, right. That's fucked up. I walked around with a chain.
Surfboard with shark's teeth on the edges.
People who have known me for years will back that up. When I was probably 14 to 17, I walked around. I had a handcuff I wore around my wrist with a chain that attached to a handcuff that I wore around my ankle. And I did that so that I could unhook it from my ankle and swing the chain around if we got in fights and shit like that. You know, I was an idiot. I was a fucking moron.
Wow.
I was a dipshit.
Did you ever
Caught
actually?
on fences when you're.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say I think I fought with it maybe once.
I was
you
just
know,
gonna ask, did you ever actually get into a fight with it?
one time I missed a guy.
Look like a badass.
Yeah, no, one time I missed a guy with it. Seriously, I'm not even kidding. One time I swung it at a dude and missed him.
I'll show you, motherfucker.
Although, to be honest with you, it was one of those things where I was swinging it at him, and at the last second I thought, man, if I do, I'm about to go to prison. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I should pull back on this a little bit. You know?
You got some brains at the last
Yeah,
minute.
so, but honestly, yeah, Joe's right. I had more often than not tripped me over shit and got stuck on stuff. And, you know, I literally had got entangled in the fence at Wilmer's Park once and couldn't get off the fucking fence.
Beauty is pain.
Yeah. Good old Wilmer's. I used to get in Wilmer's. We were talking about Wilmer's Park the other day. If you're local to this area, there used to be a place called Wilmer's Park that we would all sneak into in somebody's trunk.
Yeah, everybody's done it.
But they had big bands there, man. I mean, Sacred Reich played there, Sepultura. They had big bands go through that place, and it was a little shithole. It was surprising some of the big bands they got to come, but it was a big shithole. That's right. It really was.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is they would have hip-hop shows on Friday nights. So if you went on Friday nights, it would be all go-go and hip-hop shows. And on Saturday nights, it was all metal shows. And, man, you know, I had friends that would go on Friday and Saturday, and you take a picture of them on Friday, a picture on Saturday, and you wouldn't know it was the same motherfucker, you know?
That's so funny.
Fucking hilarious, man.
That's Calvert County for you.
Calvert County.
Yeah, there you go.
They'd go in there every week and be like, sardines, hey, and pork and beans. They still play that song every week in every Calvert County bar. God damn it.
They play it at every family event I go to.
Well, yeah, everywhere there's old white people, they still play all the, right? Yep. All the hip hop songs from the '80s, Run DMC and shit. Fucking what's the big booty butt song? Was that one? Sir Mix-a-Lot doing the butt. Doing the butt. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's even older school. Yeah, Sir Mix-a-Lot was early '90s.
Well, see, you know what's fucked up? That's how old I am. EU played at my middle school dance, my middle school homecoming dance. Played it. Yeah, Nicholas Orm, baby, right here in Prince George's County, Maryland. Crazy.
So funny.
All right, well, do you want to play another song? So I think Joe wants to go out and smoke a cigarette. He's starting to hurt me. I think he's trying to tell me something. He's like, motherfucker, if you don't shut the fuck up, I'm cutting you.
Yeah, it would have gone a little easier for you.
Joe, since when did you do a tattoo with a knife?
That's the way I always do it.
Since I needed some nicotine, motherfucker. What's coming up next, love, since we screwed the pooch on the interview?
Fusion Bomb.
Oh, my God, I'm so
Slam
fucking
Tornado.
psyched about this. Fusion Bomb is one of those bands. We interviewed them on the show a few months back. You can go into the archives and check it out. And if you do not have this release, it's just fantastic. It's a top shelf fucking metal album. It's one of my favorite parts of the last year, and we're going to remind you why right here with a jam from it on Orange Tattoo Night on Metal-O-Mania. Don't go nowhere.
Hey, this is Fusion Bomb. It's time to fucking play in the metal yard.
We're coming to you live from our fucking back cave, yo. Recruitment has begun. Our objective, eradicate these runs. Mission proves the Holocaust, we carry a scare. Flesh as a militia, teaches you to kill. Show no mercy for the weak tonight.
fined 1 credit for a violation of the verbal morality statute.
About
Oh, there went my timer.
talk about coming in under the wire, right? We all just ran outside for a few minutes while we jammed on that Fusion Bomb song, man, and played it out loud for everybody in Annapolis to enjoy. Kick-ass jam, man. I just love that band a lot. I truly hope you go and pick up that album. And as you know, we tell you every week on the show, the reason this show exists, if you're someone new to the show, the purpose of this show, our mission statement was, I got really sick of people running around saying no good metal's been made since the 80s, because that's such ridiculous bullshit. And we decided to make this show as a response to that, honestly, and to tell people.
If that's how people feel, then they're not hearing enough metal.
Exactly right.
They
exactly
just don't know
right.
where to get it.
Right. And right, we did chalk that up to maybe you're just not, it used to be a thing. We talk about it all the time. You used to go to an old record store, you used to look through the fucking art and buy records on the art. Them days are gone.
Right.
Them days, it's a different world now.
Yeah, you don't get to look at a cool album cover and go, I bet this is awesome.
Right. You don't get to get totally fucked over by Molly Hatchet the way that we were. But, and we were bastards. But
collectively, everybody.
But it's a different world now, you know what I mean? Yes, and that being the case, you need to be able to know where to find the new stuff. And I thought that our creation of this show might be the answer to
Crypt
that.
said, there is a hole that needs to be filled.
And if you know anything about me,
Perfectly said.
That's
Lil
right.
Snax. You
that's right. I
nailed
exist to fill holes, as it were. But we did decide that, we wanted to get out there on the forefront and try to make sure that people aren't missing some of these great bands like Fusion Bomb, like Snipers of Babel, as a matter of fact.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And we are still grateful.
Oh, you guys and us became family immediately, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
It was a match made in hell, as it were. So.
Yep. It was a magic moment. I honestly, sincerely, I'm going to get a little fappy on
Oh,
you
give it
guys.
to me. Give it to me.
I will never forget that night when we were talking to you guys, like not just the show, not just how the interview went, but the first real interaction I had with you two, with these guys. I said, they're special. I'm keeping them.
Oh, I love her.
I'm hanging on to them.
One of us is, and it's Skully. But but no, and I think the first thing we did together was the Sir No Face, correct? Was that our first?
Yes, that was.
That
the
might
first,
have been when we met.
That was the first time I met you guys face to face. Yeah.
So, Joe, do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah, I'd say that I do.
Right.
I've had some experiences.
Okay.
Right, okay.
Are you familiar with the Sir No Face guy by any chance? That did that whole video where he claimed to prove ghosts exist. And all that.
Absolute proof is what he claimed, right?
Yeah.
And that,
it was supposed to be pretty mind blowing. It was less.
It was less than that.
Quite a bit less than mind blowing.
Yeah. Well,
right.
Right, and we all know how that turned out.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that was pretty crazy though. We had fun.
About 2 hours.
Yeah.
And ultimately, he showed us somebody else's footage.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It was not even his own research.
Well, I felt bad for the guy too, because really the guy who put this whole thing together, he seemed really sincere, like a genuine believer, has had genuine experiences that he really feels like are real. And from the minute that these paranormal researchers that he teamed up with, from the minute he had them on camera, I said, these guys are shams.
These are tool bags.
And they have taken this poor guy.
Yeah.
And here's what I think. I genuinely think that at some point, after the point of no return, he probably figured that out, but it was too late.
Yeah, invested
too
then.
much money invested, too much time invested.
Well, how much money do you think he made? Because you think about that. That was one stop.
And then there's that.
Right. I mean, these things, I think they were $40 tickets.
Really
and,
be,
right.
Well, as long as you're then taking somebody else's.
Right,
So,
yeah. So
there's a
keep
comedian.
passing it along.
Right.
There's a comedian, and I forget who it was now, to be honest, but he said, if ghosts were real, and this is just my personal take, honestly, but he was like, if ghosts were real, don't you think you'd hear about it on, the news instead of, the Discovery Channel at 2 a.m. by 4 guys in a green lit room, you know what I mean?
Don't get me started, but no.
Ghosts are real,
No, I don't think that's the case at all. I know there's plenty of stuff that the news,
the mainstream,
doesn't report.
Yeah.
But that's another episode.
Not of Metal-O-Mania, probably.
No.
Well, at the end of the night, though, that night was worth it, and it was a lot of fun because we met you guys there that night.
We met you guys and Bozier.
Bozier was there.
Yeah, Bozier and his daughter JLo were there. It was a fun night. All around.
Evan and his woman.
Evan came, yeah, that's right. Oh, Ballwood. Speaking of
was
Ballwood,
there. Yeah.
Shout out Ballwood. We hope everything's all right. Ballwood was supposed to be here tonight.
Was the lead force in that, wasn't he?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he was convinced.
Ballwood was the one that said, "Let's all go to this thing." So we all went.
And then at the end of the night,
He was
the guy
the
opens
lead
it up
voice
for like questions and answers.
He tore him up.
And Bogwood raised his hand, was the very first one, and we were all like,
No, sit down.
"What are you doing?"
Sit down, Bongwood.
Yep.
And he got up and told a 20-minute story about something that didn't have anything to do with
A
this.
little unrelated.
No, I'm just kidding. It was awesome. I love Bongwood. That's my motherfucker right there, brother.
He'll be the first one to tell you that was not that whole.
Oh, yeah. Bongwood was the loudest one about, we just got took.
Yep.
We walked out there, he was like, fucking bullshit. This is bullshit.
He was very opinionated. Yeah.
Good stuff, though.
Yeah.
Good stuff, good
Yeah,
stuff.
It was absolutely a fun night.
Yeah.
It really was,
Yep,
man.
yep.
A
Still
lot
don't
of
believe
fun.
in the Cerno face, but
Yeah, I still don't believe in Cerno face. I have a Cerno face hat, though, to commemorate that night, and I wear it all the time.
Oh, yeah?
Good shit. So,
a little less than the Slayer hat, but you know.
yeah, I get made fun of all the time that the Slayer hat is actually sewed on my
Like
head.
attached to your head.
Yeah.
Permanently.
You know, I get people all the time like, motherfucker, everywhere you go, you got a
How
Slayer
long
hat
does
on.
it take to dry after you get out of the shower?
Honestly, I probably should wear it in the shower at this point. This fucking thing is in bad shape, man.
Yeah, it needs to look
It's
clean.
hairier than my nuts. So it's going to get on walk away one of these days, man. I'm going to go put it on. It's going to start talking.
It's gonna be like, fuck you, man. I
You're
use a
right.
bath too.
It already says, play some fucking Slayer. You know. So. Do you love Slayer, Joe?
I love Slayer.
Fuck yeah.
Good answer.
So, you know, Tina was supposed to be here tonight, and we do miss and love Tina, and I wish that she was here, but I do very much want to talk about the Serpents of Secrecy release is going to be coming out soon, correct?
Yeah, it's supposed to be sometime this spring, from my understanding.
All right, nice.
Very excited about that, actually. For those of you who are new to the show, our dearly departed friend, Reverend Jim, his band Serpents of Secrecy, some of the stuff that I believe that he was very much a part of creating, correct? Is on this release?
Oh, Jim? Yeah, I mean, Serpents was Jim.
Right. Right.
It was his baby, his side project from the other stuff he was doing.
Wow. So, and I believe you are involved in the artwork for that, correct? For the album art.
I am. Jim and I have been really good friends. I worked with him for years at a tattoo shop in Baltimore, and I knew him even back into the 90s before that. But when he said they were doing the stuff together and putting this whole thing together, and they wanted some artwork, he started talking to me, and basically commissioned me to do the full album artwork, and then it became, well, we're going to release some EPs, so then it was EP artwork and t-shirts, stuff like that. I had done some stuff previously for one of his other bands a while ago, but it was really good just to be working with Jim again.
Well, I know that Tina is very excited that this stuff is going to finally see the light of day, right?
Oh, I've heard a good chunk of it. I mean, I've heard it from like the early demos with different vocalists and stuff like that, and where they're at now, it's awesome. Like they've really knocked it out of the park with this one.
Very nice.
Well, then let's drop a bug in all you Metal-O-Maniacs ears right now, man. When this Serpents of Secrecy comes out, let's get everybody lined up to get it. Supporting, let's be honest, in many ways, Jim's final musical visions, are going to be on this release, and that's an awesome thing. And, I hope it's huge. I have not been able to hear any of it yet. I was told at one point, I won't say any names, but a couple of people, it wasn't you, by the way, but a couple of people were going to send me a couple of clips to check out, and so far I haven't received them, Tina. But I will.
She might be a little busy.
Yeah, she might be a little busy.
It was the holidays.
But yeah, good stuff. I'm very excited about that. Looking forward to that release. We used to do, if you are fans of the show for a long time, we used to do the Finger of Doom every week. We had Kenny Finger come in and do a Doom jam and, give a little intro to it and everything. And honestly, I missed that quite a bit. Kenny was a great person to have a part of the show. He's doing his own thing now. He's part of a band. He may do some Finger of Doom things for us in the coming months, which we're looking forward to.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
But he was a big Serpents fan. He was a big, big fan of that band. So
I think what you were trying to say is Tina was working with Kenny on the Finger of Doom stuff for a bit there.
Tina and
he got a little
Kenny
distracted with the pain there.
I was going to say, Joe's digging deep.
Yeah. His thought kind of circled around.
I was like, what was that saying again? But good stuff.
Yeah. Blood all over the place over there, too.
Am I bleeding?
No.
I usually do pretty good with that. I'm not a big bleeder. But Joe, are you using a jackhammer tonight?
Yep.
Just to make sure. Okay, so I'm awake now, guys. We don't need coffee.
Is that topical anesthetic wearing off
Yeah.
already?
I'm gonna slip in the back and anyway. Looks good though, brother, man. What do you think? How do you feel about how it's coming along, sir?
I'm digging it, man. I'm loving it. We're cruising right through it.
Yeah, we're cooking with Crisco now. man.
Looking really good.
Good stuff.
It's looking really amazing.
Joe's the man.
It's fun to watch too, because I've never actually sat and watched a tattoo from start to finish.
I have been like zoning in a little.
Yeah,
I'm
just
not
been
gonna
kind of
lie.
like that's where my eyes have been going, you know. Because I usually don't look, even if
Are you showing Crypt's face right now?
Right, yeah, his face is great. His face is.
You don't like watching?
Yeah, so Joe's not watching either.
Hey, keep your eye on the road, brother. But I know that's the bad part. He hasn't opened his eyes one time yet while he's doing this tonight. So I didn't mean that when I said right. That's not what I meant when I said let's do it blind, brother. But no, we talked earlier about trust, man. I just said, Joe, well, this is what we're doing, and never even asked another question about it, and I knew we'd be in good hands, and we are exactly that. So good shit. Good shit. Well, I'm going to cry for a little bit.
You want to play a song?
Let's play a song.
We got a good one.
Yeah.
It'll be, Insanity Alert, All Mosh, No Brain. Another one.
Oh, another band we've interviewed, actually. These guys are out of Austria. A good blend of crossover stuff. If you're fans of old school like DRI and things like that, to not have Insanity Alert's entire discography in your possession is literally unforgivable. Right. Fantastic band. Heavy Kevy is a great guy. We've talked to him before. They have this new release out. It's called 666 Pack. And it is phenomenal, truly fantastic. Let's check out All Mosh, No Brain, one of my favorite songs of the year from it right now. And don't go nowhere.
Yo, this is Heavy Kevy from Insanity Alert, and you're listening to Metal-O-Mania.
Words are bullshit. They're just useless sounds that we make with our stupid mouths.
Are you stupid? Yeah, not very many people care about my tattoos. I live here in Utah. I gotta say, some of you are not on board, okay? I have a lot of weird experiences here that don't happen anywhere else. I'll give you an example. Once I got done with a show, I'm here in Utah, I get done with the show, and an older gentleman comes up to me afterwards. So old. So old, you guys. Have you ever seen someone so old that if they were getting in the driver's side of a car, you'd be like, is anybody else seeing this right now? You know? Do I have to stop? Am I the one? You know? Here's another thing. I'm at a grocery store. I get in line behind this lady. She's a regular lady, nothing going on. She doesn't notice me get in line behind her. She's standing there. She turns around. She sees me, and she makes this noise. She goes, oh. And then she left. She just left. With all her stuff. Like, yeah, pretty sure she's stealing right now. Is anybody else watching her? You know, they were not. Yeah, so pretty sure she got away with like a lot of free stuff.
So I just noticed I got 2 stools in front of me.
Right. One with corn, one without.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. I hear that's a big pickup line these days.
One kind of long and thick.
Yeah, right. Now that anal's all the craze, I hear that's a big pickup line these days.
Is it
people
the
see
Not
you in
just
a-
in gay bars.
Is
No.
anal trendy now?
Anal's trending.
Is it?
That's what I read. Anal's
How
trending.
about that?
So now a big pickup line in bars is, may I push your stool in? Anyway, so that was a long way to
For the
go for a
dad
shitty joke, huh? Ba-dum-dum.
Shitty joke.
Yeah.
2 shitty jokes.
2 shitty jokes. Yeah, how's our dick count coming? Are we counting our dicks tonight? Or?
No.
I was gonna say no
We don't even have the border.
No tallywhacker. Sorry.
We should have 8,000. Oh, look, B says there's only 3. He said y'all got short tallywhackers tonight, so.
Oh.
That's fucked up to say
Well,
about my
damn.
tallywhacker, don't you think?
I was gonna say, jeez.
God damn. son of a-
We're gonna have to bust out more dicks jokes.
Whew. What?
He's getting to you.
I don't know, but I like that color.
Oh, it's blue.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I just
What?
said. Oh, wow.
Look
it's
at the
like a go.
blue. Can we hone in on that blue
I don't
there?
know.
Can
At
you
least
can you
looks blue
show the
from here.
blue? Can you get in on that blue there?
Looks blue from here. Is
By
that
the way,
actually
we got
blue,
badass
Joe, or-
cameraman Hot Rod in the house tonight, man. I love you, Hot Rod. Thank you for being here,
It's a
sir.
what now? It's a blue gray. Okay, well, it's not. At least you're not saying it's green. Goddammit.
Yeah, right. Just one time when I got blue. Should I tell that story? No.
Different kind of blue.
Say no.
Different kind of blue.
So I was reached out to earlier by a buddy of mine I haven't talked to in a long time on Facebook. And it got me thinking about some of the crazier stories from back in the day. And I had to tell this quick Kenny story. I won't tell his last name. And it's not Kenny Finger for those of you who are trying to put one and one together.
Yes, some of the people out there are going, ooh.
Yeah, right.
I
Fucking
know
Kenny.
I know who he's talking about.
A buddy of mine reached out to me on Facebook, who I haven't talked to in 20 years, who I guess came across our show and was like, oh, man, I didn't know you were doing the show and checking it out. It's pretty cool and stuff. But it got me thinking about a story of this dude when we were in Ocean City back in the day, and I told him, I said, tune in to the show tonight because I'm going to share that story, and here we go.
Uh-oh.
So we were in Ocean City years ago, 1980-something, 88, 89. And shut up.
Old.
Yeah, a little more than 20 years ago. I know. See, that's what's fucked up. The 80s are 20 years ago to me, no matter what.
I know, me too.
No,
still.
how long ago is it? Still 20
me
years ago.
too.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. 1990 was 10 years ago.
You know what I mean? I know. I got a 30-year-old born in 90, but the 80s were 20 years ago somehow.
Right.
But we were back in the day, you went to Ocean City, and Ocean City was a campground of any drug you could get your hands on, and I won't lie, we loved our trips to the moon, as it were. So me and Kenny and a bunch of friends are walking up and down the boardwalk in Ocean City and doing these to everybody. Hey, guys. Anybody? And as it turned out, this freaking dude in Grateful Dead gear from head to toe came out of nowhere, and he was like, dude, I got a fucking Visine bottle here.
Came out of nowhere. Like
Stick out your tongue. Yeah, he wasn't there, and then he was there. He like appeared, It was magic. I still think he might have been a magic man.
Right, I'm sure he was.
I think the Heart chicks were singing about this guy. So we were, of course, like, okay, cool. And he pulled out this Visine bottle and hit us all across the tongue with a couple of drops of magic sauce. Mm-hmm. Are you pro magic sauce, or should I not ask you these questions on live television?
Maybe 30 years ago.
Feel free to say I plead the fifth, sir.
Not gonna touch that.
Yeah, right.
Tattoo's coming along really great.
Yeah, by the way, this story is allegedly. So...
Statute of limitations have long
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So anyway, the point being, we all got these teardrops from this guy, and we're walking around, and next thing I know, the seagulls are just fucking 52 miles long, flying through the air, and we stop in this parking lot to try to buy a bag of weed from this guy, and our buddy Kenny, I guess, at this point is when his brain snapped. Kenny jumps out of the car. We're talking to this guy about buying a bag of weed, right? And at this time, this huge Hercules-looking guy comes walking into the parking lot, holding hands with his girlfriend in a bikini, top and bottom. Huge, and when I say this dude's huge, I mean Arnold Schwarzenegger looking huge. This guy was huge.
Right.
Kenny, a short little guy that we called Captain Caveman because he had long hair and looked like the old cartoon character Captain Caveman. I don't know how old you are. I know I'm dating myself.
Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about.
But runs over to this girl, drops to his hands and knees, grabs her by her butt cheeks and buries his face right between her legs and just... And this big, huge weightlifter dude picks Kenny up off the ground and is holding him by his shirt going, what is wrong with you? And Kenny is out of his mind and his veins are popping out of his neck. And he's like, fuck you, bro. I'm tripping balls, man. Fuck you. And dude literally put him down and walked away. I think terrified, like, I don't know what's going on with this guy, but I don't want no part of it. And, of course, that story ends with Kenny getting in handcuffs, so there you go.
I imagine it would.
And, man, I'm going to just tell you, though,
As
my
they should
idea
be
of hell, you know, we talked a few weeks ago on the show, like, what's your own personal, vision of hell? For everybody, it's something different. I don't want to be in an enclosed space, you know.
Right.
Don't put me in an enclosed space. That's my idea of hell. But tripping on that fucking acid in a jail cell has to be somebody's version of hell.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean?
Don't confine me anywhere.
Oh, that had to be a nightmare. So there you go. That's the kind of shit we talk about here on Metal-O-Mania. Ain't you glad? Good stuff. Sorry, I was trying to tell a story and distract myself from what's going on over here because the color's a little painful.
Well, he's back by your down by your wrist again.
Yeah, down in that wrist area.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So
You have a
I
very
do
large
want to
nerve net there.
Oh
for,
yeah,
for the geeks out in the audience.
I wanted to before the show tonight, and I forgot to do it. I was going to post a picture of my Cthulhu art and start a thread on our Metal-O-Mania group, which I'd still like to do of people sharing some of their tattoo art with us and taking a look. So let's see all the art, everybody. If you got tattoo ink, let's share it. Let's see what it looks like.
Art.
Yeah, man. Post your fucking skin art, man. Especially if it's vulgar. You can send me those privately, though. Because Facebook will throw you to fuck off the fucking...
Yeah, they'll be
Yeah,
like, I see nipples.
Don't get yourself in trouble. Although, I have seen some shit on Facebook that I'm like, there's no way. Like, you would be kicked off in a heartbeat for something like that. Like, remember, I even took a screenshot the other day and sent it. I swear to God, it was a close-up. So, I mean, you could tell what the hell was going on. Right. But it was totally a chick sucking a dick. Like, full-on close-up shot of it. Like, you knew that was what was happening. Right. And it was like 9 hours old or something.
Meanwhile, I got a 30-day ban from Facebook for posting a picture of a chick in a bikini. They told me it was nudity. So
Right. Yeah. See, you're on a watch list.
I am. I think so.
Yeah, they're watching.
Once they
him,
throw
for
you
sure.
off 30,000 times, they're like, "What did he post?
Right.
Fuck this guy."
They assign someone to you.
Yeah. I have a full-on fucking Crypt
does.
guy that works for Facebook.
He's got a file.
His posts don't even go straight to the web. They
Yeah,
go
right.
to like
They
a
go
pending
through a
folder
filter,
first.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. They have to go through his handler
Facebook built
first.
in a dump just for us, you know. It's fucked
Us.
up.
There's no us.
Yeah, just for me.
He said us.
It is what it is.
What's this we shit?
I know. If I want to post something fucked up, I got to log in as Kelly to do it. That way I can get away with it.
I know, he does that sometimes, guys. It's not always me.
Uh-oh.
That's my my out at least.
You know you can tell it's me.
Sure.
How long it is? If it's 3 inches, it's probably not me.
Right.
3 inches.
The Facebook post.
What the fuck did you just say?
The amount of text.
No, you know how you can tell it's me posting a Skully? If it says something nice about me, it was probably me. If it's complimentary towards the Crypt, I posted it probably.
I'm like, oh, did you feel like you needed a little?
Yeah,
pick me up
I
today?
needed a little.
This is what Skully thinks of me. I swear.
This is what I wish he thought of me. Is what it is. Yeah. A little projective thinking, I guess. God damn it. So, Skully, what tattoo are you gonna get?
I am probably not gonna do that.
Don't you think she should get a tattoo, Joe?
Why? What's
on
on your back? What's in
skull,
it?
right?
This is
Right, it would have to be skull related.
This is a great. I love this question. I love asking this question to people who don't have tattoos but like tattoos. So what's holding you back?
I could never choose anything that I would want to live with.
That's
for
the
the
most
rest of my
common
life.
answer. Yeah, it's always about choosing the first one. Like what
would I want on my body?
What tattoo you want to live with forever, but you got this guy.
You took the words out of my mouth.
I
Joe.
want to live with him forever. Hold on.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was like,
Just get a dick joke tattooed on your arm.
I'm telling you.
We're just talking about marriage here. Tattoos are permanent. Come on.
Right.
I don't need surgery to get rid of him.
I don't know. There's been a few times. Remember that night we were playing with the
calls.
glue?
Right.
It's gotten stuck. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, he's making the face.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at your pain, but I'm laughing.
How you doing, Rich?
Pain.
Joe just hit a sweet spot. Apparently.
Yeah. Do you know how long it's going to be before I can jerk off with my left hand after this, you guys? Good Lord.
Is that the hand you usually use?
What's that have to do with your
I thought you were a righty.
Yeah, I'm a righty.
Okay. Well, then what's the problem?
You know how you can tell I'm a righty?
wanted
My dick kicks to the right.
Ah, okay.
You know,
All right.
if you're a lefty, it kicks to the left. This is my theory. Back me up, gentlemen. So, Joe, what size do you kick to? Are you ambidextrous?
Use both at once.
He has to.
Good man. So over time, does it kick up towards you at all, or no?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. See, good stuff. I have a theory. I've talked about this on the show a few times, but over years of pulling it to the right, mine kicks a little to. That's why they have an elbow. You know what I mean? Because you pull them to the side for your whole life.
An elbow.
Oh, mine has an elbow.
He's like, don't they?
Yeah. What? Yours doesn't have an elbow? What? What's wrong with you? No. But it is my theory that you pull it a certain way for your whole lifetime. Eventually, it's going to kick that way. Like a baby's arm holding their elbow. It is. So, which ways does yours kick, Layla?
Honestly, I switch off, so it's nice and straight.
You're also ambidextrous.
I think the same thing too. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't. You don't want to.
Right. You don't want a crooked
all
foot.
that training you did,
Right.
you fucked up.
Yeah, I know. I was concentrating on not coming too quick, but I didn't think about the whole
I'm a
elbow.
righty, so it started to go to the right, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Gonna have to, even that out a bit.
Right.
So every time somebody's down there looking at it, they're like, no, it's not in the middle anymore. No, I'm saying. You got to find my sweet spot to the left, motherfucker, to the left.
I know what I'm talking about. I say I'm not just saying it for my health.
I heard someone talk once, a female comedian tell once that she was going to get a tattoo above her vagina that gave instructions on what to do while down there. What do you think of that idea?
Right.
That's extreme. Just tell him.
I feel like if you need instructions on that level, you probably should give up anyway. He's not listening.
Move on to the next guy.
Right.
I
think your taste in men needs some work.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not listening.
Right.
So, what do you think, Joe?
You should find yourself a good listener.
Joe's like, these
Joe's
fucking
like,
guys,
huh?
man.
What?
So, when's your next piece you're going to get, brother? Do you have something lined up to add to yourself at this point, or?
No, I don't really have any plans right now. I mean, still got a little bit of room, but no definite plans.
No, I was just going to ask you, how long before you run out of canvas?
Still got a face.
Yeah. Not sure if I'm going there.
Right.
Maybe in time. Who knows? I won't say never.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like, there's still some room here and there. Mostly filling gaps in between stuff.
Right.
So I just got to find somebody who doesn't mind getting bored out of their mind, filling the space between something.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you say you have a theme of any sorts, or what's kind of, if you had to label the theme of your art on yourself, would you be able to do that, or is it kind of more erratic than that?
There is no theme whatsoever. It's whatever goes through my mind at any point in time. It's like, yeah, that'd be fun.
Yep.
Seems like a good idea at the time. That's my theme, yeah. What about you, Layla? Do you have a theme going, or is that kind of
I sort of do. Well, I like all of my pieces, visible pieces. I have some covered up stuff, but all of my visible pieces, again, are done by the same artist, again, Matt Kiley. And he has a very particular style. I've always loved his filigree, which, again, is part of the inspiration of having filigree on this piece right here that he basically designed off the top of his head. And my back piece kind of keeps up with that. That is a collaborative piece. That was something that I came to him with, ideas and said, this is what I'm looking for. And again, it was something that I wanted to work with the anatomy of my back, and he, was enough of was knowledgeable enough about anatomy that he was able to understand what I was trying to accomplish. And just because it all came from sort of the same inspiration, the things that I like, and then him visualizing it, they all are very cohesive.
Right.
For that
Came
reason.
together nicely.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you then, does that lead to where you go next? What's your next,
I've got 3 different ideas in mind. One of them is very specific. I designed it by putting a couple things together, and it would essentially be just like a trace job, unless whoever it is I work with has the ability to kind of improve on it, which I would rather, because I don't like just trace stuff. It looks traced. I would rather freehand stuff because this was freehand and it looks freehand.
it looks badass, right?
Yeah. There's some movement. Like, I took an art class in college, and one of the very first things they teach you is that, when you do this really slow kind of tracey stuff, you lose the movement of the piece, and that when you just do these quick things, but your hand is kind of just moving freely, that translates to what you're drawing, and that's what that's what was captured in him just doing freehand on me, and then going over that. It looks literally free, freedom of movement, freehand. So I would like something like that again to be replicated, but it's kind of tough to do if I have a very specific idea in mind and say this is exactly what I want.
This
so.
is. Have you done that? Have you gone to an art to Matt with a specific picture, or is it just an idea you start with?
Sorta. Like I came to him with a specific picture of some of the filigree that I have on my shoulders right now, shoulders and lower back, and he did trace those, but sort of like expounded on it. And he came up with he actually came up with the theme that's on my back, which is 4 seasons. I should have sent you a picture because I got a picture on my Facebook. Go find the picture on my Facebook of my back piece. I got it on there like 2 days after it was done. It's beautiful. But he came up with the idea of making the 4 quadrants of my back seasonal, like
badass,
like winter, spring.
Have you ever seen the different seasons cover for Stephen King's book?
Fall. Say what?
Have you ever seen Stephen King's original cover for the different seasons book that he did?
I don't think I saw the original. What is it?
It might be something pretty similar to what you're describing. It's got 4 different kind of seasonal pictures, but they're a little bit of evil built into it, of course.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
Stephen King, but
right, exactly. Yeah,
you might want to look that up. It might be a good jumping off point for what you're talking about.
Possibly,
but,
yeah.
Well, I mean, you already have it though, right? You're talking about
I already have.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
So,
right.
But it's got filigree, different colored filigree representing the 4 seasons, representing the cycle of the year, which is very me. It was his idea, but it's incredibly me. So that's really sort of the thrilling part of finding an artist that you can really click with, that they can come up with ideas that are the kind of things that, like if you guys are on enough of the same page, that's a really sort of thrilling moment, because we literally collaborated on this piece.
Awesome.
And
now I want to see the damn thing. What's up?
Right. Well,
I'll go look at a picture on Facebook.
I mean, I can pull it up on my phone if there's a way to send it to you guys somehow.
We'll do it when we're playing the next song.
Yeah. No, I've got it, so we'll throw it up there.
That's good stuff. You're gonna have to help me talk Skully into it, man. We're gonna have to get her drunk one night and tie her down and get her.
Here's the thing.
I don't think they'll do it in that case.
No,
situation.
you won't do a drunk tattoo.
Once you,
there you go.
Okay.
The idea of the permanence, the intimidating idea of the permanence of a tattoo, trust me, goes away, evaporates the second that needle hits your skin.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just you all of a sudden want all of the tattoos
in the world. I want them all right now. So.
You can live with any of them. You can't stop. My sister-in-law, she spent years. Every now and then coming to me and saying, I'm thinking about maybe this for my first tattoo. What do you think? And I would kind of give her feedback based on, okay, well, you want to make sure that you don't get it too small because you'll regret it if you would have wanted to have it bigger later. It's much better to go bigger. You got to pick the right place on your body for it. That like if you're getting a cat paw, maybe put it on your foot. I would give her ideas, just kind of little things that you kind of pick up along the way that are things that other people learned from doing it wrong. And she eventually finally settled on her first tattoo, which, if I remember correctly, Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was indeed cat paws, but it was portrait cat paws. It was her cat's paws that she got.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
She put on like either took a picture of or put on a photocopy or something. I don't know. But the artist had literal pictures of her cat's paws, and did them portrait style. On the top of her foot, and they're beautiful. And now she can't stop. Now she's got one on the back of her neck that she drew. She's got a bison on her side because she lives out in Colorado and she loves bison. A big old bison on her side. I forget what else, but she's just cranking away. And there's very little thought that goes into it now, So she's just like, this one's my next one. This one's my next one.
Yeah, I'm always thinking about my next one. Mm-hmm. We got Ribs in here tonight with us, one of our awesome brothers that are helping us out and stuff, and he came in the door like, well, you need to set up something where I'm getting some ink too, man. Let's do this thing.
Right.
So it
I know
does have
so
a
far
way
he's
of,
already got plans with 2 people
to
come back for tattoos.
Yeah, I'm coming back with my son to do some ink soon. We're going to, I got a thing on me I want to fix, so,
Right.
I'm definitely hooked. I love it.
Nice,
It's
yeah.
good stuff.
I got something that like the next thing that I wanted to get done after I got this, and after I got my back done, is I wanted to have something on my hip over here. I haven't really nailed down the design. It's just extremely loose. It's one of those that I would want to, again, kind of collaborate with Matt and be like, all right, so I was thinking something like this. What can you do? That one is definitely going to have an artist collaboration. I want to get one on the back of my neck that I can't talk about.
Okay. Well, we'll be looking out for details on that.
Right.
I want to get about 1,000 of them. So,
right. You want to just get covered. You're
I'm
having
feeling
trouble
it
making
right now, though.
You're having trouble making it through this one. Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I love it, but yeah, I'm
Every now and then he goes,
What? What are we talking about?
Do you have a modern retro hot shot? I can't even say it tonight. Modern retro.
Modern retro, haha. No, I just kind of stuck a few things together and all that
Okay.
kind of shit. So
Well, I was just gonna say you had a question. Do you want to get to that at all? We are 1, 2, 3. Are you?
Oh,
got
I
these
had a
together?
question for Joe. Yeah. One of the Ask the Tattoo Artist questions. Okay,
Yeah, give it to him.
Joe. So here you go. So I know someone who one of the pieces that they did was their client wanted her mother had passed away, and she had her ashes, and she requested that he mix her ashes in with some black ink and did a butterfly, a very beautiful butterfly. And the outline of the butterfly, the black ink of the butterfly, has her mother's ashes in it. And when I asked him about it later, I was like, so how was that? He was like, it was creepy as fuck. He didn't really say that he wished he hadn't done it. He didn't say he wouldn't do it again. I just kind of didn't ask any more after that. Right? Would you, if someone
didn't
came
realize
to
you could
you,
even do that.
if someone came to you, give him the mic, Crypt. If someone came to you, Joe, would you do that for a client?
No, I'm not into that. I don't want to put anything in there that I don't know where it's come from.
Right.
Things like that.
Is the sanitation issue really the big issue?
For the most part with me, like you don't know where it came from. You don't know who's handled it.
Right.
I'm not going to put.
Have
it
they
into
kept
somebody.
it sanitary since know?
Yeah. What's
I mean, it's
happened to
ash.
Grandma?
Yeah, that's.
It's ash, but it's been sitting out. Bacteria, things like that can get in there.
I was going to say, if it's been mishandled, yeah.
Well, no, ash is enough for me. I wouldn't want that in my body, or right? Like
I mean, she never had any issues with it. It never got like infected or
Wow.
anything like that. It looks beautiful. You know, I from the outside, not having to handle it, I felt like it was a pretty neat way of commemorating a.
There was a thing like a year or two ago that some company was making encapsulated DNA that would go into a pigment, and you could tattoo your loved one's DNA into you.
Right. Okay. So.
Problem is you have to get it from a living sample of your loved one, and it costs a ridiculous amount of money.
I was going to say it's probably the more expensive way to do it.
Entire process,
Right.
You're spending $600 or something on this ink that's encapsulated DNA of your family member. They're already dead. Too late. You can't just use their ashes. It has
Right.
to be living DNA.
Right.
There
It's definitely
was
a rich
huge
man's
uproar
tattoo.
through the industry about it. So it was another one of those kind of weird niche market things that somebody comes up with an idea and they try to force it into what we do.
Right.
Have
you ever had someone come to you with that specific
with that stuff?
idea?
No.
Right. Okay.
No. I don't even think I'd want to deal with that either.
Right. Yeah. This
I'm like
question.
a glow in the dark, like
Yeah. This.
I don't even get into all
I don't-
those.
can you do that?
Gimmick inks and
Right,
stuff like,
yeah.
oh, this is glow and this is black light. It's whatever.
Yeah, they do have black light ink. Yeah. That is a thing.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work the way you think it does. People think they're going to get a tattoo. They're going to walk in the club and
Yeah,
they're
go to
just
a
gonna
rave.
start glowing and be, look at me.
Right.
No, you got to put that thing right on the damn thing, and
Right.
then it's like, ooh, look at that.
It's
Right.
really
It's
more
over,
for
it's
like
done.
speakeasy type stuff. Like, what's the
Yeah,
password?
I mean, maybe you could get something on your hand for when you go to the club and they scan it, and then you and the door guy could get a giggle with each other. But
Right.
It's pretty lame.
Right.
Yeah.
So the ashes question was actually the question I had in mind though earlier when I asked if there was anything that you would refuse to do. Like
Yeah.
I was like sort of probing for stuff like that.
No, I'm not into that. I like to make sure I know where everything's come from.
Right.
And it's sterile.
I mean that makes sense. That's certainly a sensible answer.
I'm not gonna. You're not gonna bring me in a bottle of ink and be like, use this color on me.
Right.
If
Same
it
idea.
doesn't have the seal on it still, I don't know what the hell you've done with it.
Right.
So if someone
Everything
brings you
here
in
I've bought and it's
sealed
good to go.
ashes and you have to break the seal on the urn, is that legit?
I don't know if that's the same. We'll try. We'll pour a little
Grandma's
water
fresh.
in there, see if we can mix her around.
Well, you've been doing this a long time, so you see trends come and go. Obviously, at a tattoo shop, I'll bet more so than most places in the world. Even, do you find that? Do you find that when you're doing these trendy things, that are you thinking to yourself, man, in a year you're going to regret this?
There's definitely a lot of that. There's definitely a lot of this is the current trend, and people go, I don't want it to look like this because that's so, 1990s. Well, what the fuck do you think your thing's going to look like now in 2020? Like, you're picking the same thing that everyone else is picking at the same time. Of course it's going to look dated.
Right.
Tramp stamps, where did they go?
Right.
They're gone.
Right. The tribal shit.
Yeah. Well, it's coming back.
Is it really?
Unfortunately.
Please tell me that's not true.
It's true. It's not as much the same as it used to be, but
I was gonna say, how has it morphed? Is it like actually cool looking?
there's a lot of different takes on stuff out there now. I mean, some people, they really get into like the Polynesian style, take on tribal, that look. People are doing a lot of like this blackout tattooing. Let me color a whole limb black, or more.
A lot of the 3D stuff I see these days too is that.
Yeah, I mean, there
seems to be a use of a lot of black. Am I right?
Well, there's some of the 3D stuff going on. There's a lot of different ways to 3D. Whether it's just putting like a drop shadow on something or trying to make it look like it's actually carved into you or something. Like I'm looking inside you to find this thing. Yeah, there's some people who do it really well, and they do some amazing stuff. And then there's 600 people who jump right on the bandwagon the second they see that piece and copy it and fuck it up.
I was going to say, those are the kinds of pieces you don't want the wrong person doing. It's just not worth the money you spent on it by a long shot.
Well, yeah, if I can give advice to anyone out there, research your artist. I mean, you can't do enough of that. That's why I'm such an advocate of a place like Orange, to be honest with you. This place has top shelf artists. You can look at their work. You know that you're coming in, you're going to get across the board top shelf treatment. You know what I mean?
Right.
Research your artist, people. Don't just go, this isn't going to be on your body forever. Look into the person putting the ink on you. Look into what they've done. Look into, you know what I mean? If they have a track record of people being happy, you're more likely to be happy.
Well, and look for stuff that is like what you want. Like if you want biomech work, for example, find an artist
who does biomech.
Exactly. Yeah, that you can see their stuff that they've already done. So
we have guys here who do most different styles, and if it's not something that I do, send it to the guy who does.
Right, exactly.
I'm not going to do portraits. That's not something I ever got into. We have a guy who does those.
Nice.
So I don't have to worry about it. I just talk to him.
All right, nice.
Has there been a trend? Now, some of the trends are a little goofy in my opinion, but has there been a trend you've personally liked that you've been like, oh man, I hope this one stays around for a minute. This one's pretty cool, or are they all kind of like fly by night shit?
I mean, as far as trends go, trends are trends. They kind of suck.
That's why they don't stick around.
Yeah. But the cool thing, though, is things can be trending, but not trendy. Like there's been more of a revival in traditional American style tattooing. In the 90s, it started to get big again.
Right.
And it just kind of kept going along, and now it's exploded all over again, and it's great to me. I mean, that's tattoos. Bold, readable, you can tell what the hell it is.
Yeah.
And I like it even better when you can tell what it is from down the street. Instead of being so overly intricate and too much stuff that you can't tell what it is.
It gets lost in the damn sauce, right?
I will say that I've seen some really, really beautiful tattoos that from 15 feet away aren't beautiful because they lose all the detail. They're just too detailed, too intricate.
I think it was definitely a thing where it became like a dick wagging competition for a while there, where artists were like, look what I can do with my single needle. I can put more detail in this thing than anybody has ever dreamed of.
Right.
And it doesn't hold up.
Who's going to get that close to someone's neck?
Yeah.
Like
you see those guys who have sleeves that are just like one bluish gray smear because they were sitting there trying to put way too much into this thing.
Right.
And it didn't hold up.
Your body shape changes over time.
Well, that's Skully's fear. I keep telling her I'm going to cover this arm with H.P. Lovecraft, and she says that as long as they're detailed, it's good. But when it starts to blend and become a big thing, that's when it's not good anymore. And I agree with that.
I mean, sometimes you have to leave space between things for it to stay readable.
Right.
Sometimes people just want to throw background behind things just to close all those gaps, and because they want everything covered.
I will say that it might be a fairly uncultured taste, but I like the look of a full no gaps sleeve. From a distance, I like that look.
Well, I think it all depends on the style of work.
Right.
Like this traditional American style sleeve, it's 25 years old and it
holds up pretty well.
You can read everything on there.
Yeah.
It's bold, it's clean.
Yeah.
But if I were to go and put solid background behind it,
Right,
it
yeah,
wouldn't look like a traditional sleeve. It would be an unreadable mess at spots, and you know, it kind of all depends stylistically on what it is.
Well, but yeah, yours is still what I would consider a full sleeve because it's consistent. The texture is consistent throughout. You don't have one here, one here, one here, one here. You know, it's not like it. You look like you have one tattoo on your whole arm, and it just has lots of little pieces, as opposed to having 7 on one arm that are not connected in any way, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes it's, you know, if you're going for that full sleeved look, something, you know, when you put the next piece in, you might have to think about
exactly
a little bit
where.
of background or how it goes over to the other tattoos
how it
interacts.
Interacts with the other pieces,
You know, they might not be, you know, might not be all air images that need a smoky sky background with it.
Right.
But, you know, sometimes a little bit of that, you know, kind of goes and flows behind the one next to it, and now they're connected.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a sleeve.
Totally. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Eventually, I'm going to talk to you about that, how we'll connect all this shit together. So,
All right.
Speaking of which, can you get a good shot? We were talking about some details. I got a little blood happening, but
bleeding.
It's pretty badass looking, though, huh?
All right.
Is it all done?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice.
It's fucking badass looking, ain't it?
Yep.
I like it. What do you guys think out there, man?
Yep, digging it.
My main man, JOWEONE, if you're within 32,000 miles of Orange Tattoo, come on down and get some ink, right?
And Joe, I like your style. You're consistent here too with the very strategic use of color. I love it.
He does. That does seem to be a thing, man.
Neither
where
overdone
it pops.
nor underdone.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. The color seems to be the perfect amount to really pop a picture out at you. That Joe has a style too. Yeah, brother. I like it.
He's got an eye for that.
Darker, but not make it to where nothing has room to breathe.
Right on.
You know.
I quite like the piece. Oh yeah, look, after the blood goes away, you can see the purple, and the purple's cool. Yeah, man.
Oh, I can see it from here. Yeah, see?
Yeah, the purple highlights it and jumps it. You do masterful work, sir. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's impressive stuff. I'll tell you what, we'll play a song. We'll come out on the other side and we'll show you a little bit more about what this piece that our man Joe's been working on looks like. And what's coming up next for everybody there, Miss Skully?
Are we on Get the Shot?
We are.
I think we are, yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm so excited about that.
Faith Reaper.
This one I'm playing for a reason, and that reason is the first time we did an Orange Tattoo episode. This album had just came out, and when I think of the first time we did the Orange Tattoo episode, the very first song that comes to my mind every time is this song, so I thought, why not break it out again and play it on our return? So here's Get the Shot. The song is Faith Reaper. The album is Infinite Punishment. This is Joe. I'm the Crypt, and we're Metal-O-Mania. Let's keep doing it. Here you go. Check it out.
My thing got stuck in my zipper. I got piss all over my pants.
throw myself down the stairs and frame you for the murder.
All right, my car is dead, so I'm gonna skateboard down this hill. Just like that. Yeah. Yeah, boy. Oh shoot, this is actually very dangerous. So there's definitely, oh shit, I don't have to reach my door's open, oh shit, oh fuck, oh my fucking god, guys, fuck! Holy shit, you guys just saw that! Holy fucking shit! Guys, my bush light is gone! Oh fuck! Holy shit! Oh, well, this car is screwed. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Damn. Oh, that was fucking dumb. That was the dumbest shit I've ever done. Whew. Oh.
And continuing with the fantastic festivities here on episode number 150 of Metal-O-Mania, here at Orange Tattoo in Annapolis, Maryland, we just brought you the awesome, the amazing Snipers of Babel. That's right. Layla and Bozier and Jeremy and Tommy and there's 54 of you guys now?
I have the list in here somewhere.
Yeah, all 54 of them. We love them and we appreciate them. But
I forget all their names.
I love that song. I want to make sure before we talked about that. Let's real quickly here. I got my list finally in front of me. The Get the Shot I already talked about, so we'll go past that. The Snipers of Babel. I love that song. I love that song.
Thank you very much.
I'm looking forward to what you guys are going to come out with here soon.
We got a lot more coming.
That's good shit.
We have so much more coming that we can't keep up.
Yeah, right on.
Mike Bozier, the guitar player and songwriter, the mastermind, he's outpacing us by
the boss.
So for the boss. Yes,
Yeah.
I call him the boss. He
Yeah, me
absolutely
too.
is. And he's cranking it out literally faster than we can lay down.
That's good shit, though.
He's so far ahead of us right now.
Mike is literally family to me at this point, man. You know, and I just bitched on Facebook that people overuse the word literally, and here I am doing it. But Mike is family to me. You know, we go back a long way, and at this point, Jayla, his daughter, is a part of our staff. I mean, she does our editing.
Yeah,
the interview that I forgot to bring tonight with Red Death, Jayla edited it for us.
Well, how about that?
It would have been amazing if you could have seen it.
She's good at it.
Yeah, she's really good. So you're gonna really love it when I share it with you eventually. So, but yeah, Jayla's family with us. You know, just shout out to the Bozier, the whole crew, and Snipers. We love what you guys are doing. Keep it coming, and we'll play it when you got it ready. We'll put it out to the world. As far as I'm concerned, it's an excuse to drag your ass into the studio, play some Snipers music, and talk shit with
time,
you.
right?
That's right.
You know,
that's right. and I love and appreciate you guys. I appreciate you being here tonight, Layla. Very much.
Absolutely. Yep. I'm very glad to be here. Having fun.
I appreciate this guy a little bit too, man.
I know, man. He's awesome. You know
what?
You're going to be appreciating him for the rest of your life.
Yeah, look at that.
Right, look at that shit.
Still.
Yeah, right. What do you think? You guys like it?
You like
What do you
it?
think of that? Huh? Oh, it's good stuff.
Bleeding all over the place.
Do you ever think about that part of it? Like, I'm putting shit on. My job is to put things on people that they will be buried with. Very few people can say that. You know, do you ever think about that part of it? Yeah. Or is that?
About it. It's part of tattoos.
Right.
You know, I look at what I have, and it's like, yeah, I've had that for 25, 26 years, and it's cool, to know that it's still going to be there. And that's why you kind of collect some of the different little things here and there, mementos from the time. And
Yeah. They're all timestamps, right?
Yeah.
I literally took the word out of my mouth.
Yeah.
It tells a story about you. You know what I mean? They're meant to, and I think they do exactly that. You know what I mean? This guy likes sports and H.P. Lovecraft. You couldn't ask me that. You had to look on my skin to be able to tell.
Right.
No.
Yeah. And well, and my pieces too. Like there's like I've had people ask, well, what's going to happen if you change your mind or you regret it or wish you'd gotten something different? I'm like, it kind of, at least for me anyway. I don't know if everyone's the same, but it doesn't really work that way for me. I don't think of them that way.
You get another.
Well, exactly, yeah.
Right, something else to concentrate on.
I mean, I'm not going to say that you necessarily forget that they're there, but they definitely just sort of become part of the landscape. They're not something that you judge like that anymore.
Part of you. I don't ever really sit and go,
do I like that?
Look at that one. I remember that guy there.
Right, yeah. And you don't sit there and look at them and decide whether or not you like them. That's just not part of the thought process
See,
anymore,
I guess I have a slight...
Period when they're new and you're like super into it. And
Oh,
you're like,
yeah,
oh
totally.
yeah, that's
still bright
that's
and
my
poppy.
new one. I love this one. You show it
Uh-huh.
off, and then it's on to the next one. But
exactly,
you go a few years without getting one, and you have tattoos.
Yeah, totally.
See, I think it does depend a little because the Cthulhu one that I have, which again I want to show you, I love it. It's my favorite piece.
Really beautiful. Yeah.
Joe did it, awesome dude. But I covered up. I had when I was 16 years old. I was, it was the 80s. Cocaine was a big thing. We all thought we were awesome doing cocaine. It's a stupid drug. Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah, seriously.
But I got a skeleton hand holding an 8-ball. Hanging on my arm. I used to have that on my. I thought it was so cool when I was 16. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at my awesome cocaine tattoo. Is what I called it.
Great, example of why I try to tell young kids, teenagers, please wait.
Yeah,
just
wait.
wait.
It's
Like I got
such
a tattoo when I was 19. I covered it up.
Yeah.
You probably are going to change your mind.
Yeah.
I mean, you may change your mind at any point in life, but you definitely have a much better idea of who you are when you're older.
My two biggest mistakes were the 8-ball and the gas.
And the gas. Right.
And Joe covered both of them up.
Nice, Joe. Good job, Joe. You've just made this man's life better.
I like to think I improve people's lives
There you
little
go.
by little.
Yep.
For a living, that's a pretty good gig.
Yeah, it ain't bad.
Yep.
I get to draw pictures on people and hang out.
And draw blood
Pretty
while
cool.
you're at it too. I mean, you know.
Let me ask you that. When did you know this was what you were going to do?
I didn't know.
Do you still?
It still
do you know
doesn't.
now?
Right? I'm still not committed to this shit.
He's still
I'm not
like
sure
feeling
what
it out.
I'm doing. You know, I figure when I hit the 30-year mark, I'll make a decision.
Right? Yeah. You know.
I got a couple to go.
Any day now, he could just not walk through that door.
No, I mean, when I got into it, I had been getting tattooed, you know, by people I knew out of like kitchens and shit like that since I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of terrible, shitty tattoos. And, you know, when I was 18, graduated high school, one of my friends had gotten a job in a shop, and they needed help at the front desk.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you want to come and work this summer? And I was like, yeah, all right. I don't know
Sure,
what else
yeah.
I'm going to do.
Right.
So I went down there and I worked and hung out, and I fell in love with it. You know, tattooing was just awesome. I loved getting them. I loved hanging around tattooers and watching it happen all the time. And, you know, I did that for a couple years, and the guys that were there, they saw me drawing and, you know, playing with sketchbooks and looking at shit all the time. And they were like, why don't we just teach you to tattoo? And you don't have to figure out what you're going to do.
Right.
You're going to tattoo.
Nice.
And I was like,
Okay.
Okay, that's what I'll do.
Sure.
I would do it if I could. I don't have the talent, so.
Yeah, so here it is, going on 24 years later.
I would not do it. I'll tell you something. I love the art, but not in a million fucking years.
Would you do it for a living?
No.
Oh, really?
Sir,
I so would if I could. I would.
Because you wouldn't either, and I'll tell you why. Because you'd be dealing with all the people coming in here with really, like, indecipherable ideas and trying to tell you what they want, and you're like, dude, first of all, if what you want is what I think you're saying, you can't have that.
Right.
Because I can't do that.
Part of that, but you do have to try to explain why those things won't work and steer them in the direction of things that will work and what your reasoning behind why you're going to switch to this, you know, because I don't like to just do things for the trend and for now. I've got tattoos on me that are closing in on 30 years old that I've seen how they age. I know that this fad's only going to last for so long before that turns to shit on the skin.
Right.
Then what do you do with it? So you try to plan for that longevity ahead of time.
Yeah, yeah.
And you try to let people know when they bring their ideas and like, yeah, okay, we can use these things. I can't put all 25 of them in your tattoo this big.
Right, yeah.
But maybe we take the most important ones so everything will hold up, and 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you can still look at it and go, I know what it is.
Right.
It's not a blob of shit.
Right,
and
it's
it
not a
makes
big
sense.
ball of mud. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But God bless you, because I could not have those conversations. Those conversations are what make this not an option for me.
Those conversations tend to be easier than some of the other things you deal with.
Right? Like what?
You know, like when everybody fishes, like what's the craziest thing you've ever tattooed? They want to hear you say,
I don't fucking know.
I've tattooed vaginas and dicks all
Right,
day long.
right.
That's what I was fishing for.
Right.
You don't want to see the vaginas and dicks that come in and want to get tattooed most of the time.
Right.
Like, no, it's, yeah, there's money, but sometimes there's not enough money. You know, there's a limit that people will pay. And if you tell them the handling fee is an extra $1,000, they will generally walk away.
Right. Yeah.
And you don't
I'll go
have
find
to
someone
deal
else who'll
with,
do it.
Yeah, you don't have to deal with the thing that hasn't been washed in 6 years and groomed and smells like it's been sitting in the sun all day. Like, and that's just people's feet, you know?
Oh, God.
I'm going to put a tattoo of seafood here. Anyway,
There's a lot of stuff out there you don't want to see.
well, and I think like Layla's saying,
Right, they stick with you.
Yeah, let alone what you see, but what you smell.
Dude, imagine the poor gynecologist who can't send them away.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah.
who
They're
wants
stuck
that
with
job?
them. Right.
I always thought as a child, like I would love to have that as a job. But
Nope.
yeah, when you think about it a little bit, not so good.
Nope. Not a bunch of sick badges.
Right. Yeah, nobody's ever come in there and like, it looks fantastic. I'm just here to tell you. That's all. I just came by to show.
show you
Look
my
at my
flower."
majestic vagina. You know, it's like something's wrong with it. Will you come here?
I worked at a shop with Reverend Jim outside of Baltimore, and it was one of the other piercers on duty that day. This lady came in for her navel to get pierced, and when the piercer was cleaning it, she essentially pulled out what looked like 2 milk duds from her belly button. They were not milk duds. It was compacted lint. And when she popped the first one out, the smell that filled that room, you'd throw up. It was disgusting.
Oh, that's awful.
So she did her a favor and popped, both of them out of there, and was like, "Look, I don't think this is a good idea.
No.
We need to discuss hygiene.
Yeah,
You're not going to be
yeah.
able to heal this.
This is
Like, this is just what I pulled out of there. You have probably never pulled anything else out of there in the past 20 years."
Well, and that does lead me to a question. If you see that someone's clearly not on the hygiene angle, that's going to be a problem for them to heal. I mean,
yeah,
it's a concern. I mean, there's definitely times where you see it and you're like, you need to take better care of these things, wash these areas.
Crazy.
Maybe sometimes you just say you don't have time that day.
Right.
You come back another day.
I'm sorry, we're booked.
We can set it up for early in the morning, when you're fresh out the shower or something.
Right.
meet me in the shower for this one. How about that?
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Crypt
there's
has all
things
the
you don't
wrong
want to
ideas.
see.
I know.
Yeah.
You can't unsee or unsmell certain things. You know what I mean? That's hilarious, dude. Holy shit. That's good stuff, man. Well, we're going to have to sit down together and add to the HP. I see a thing here. We've started a thing. So we're going to have to keep it going, brother.
I'm down.
He was
Fuck yeah.
telling me some ideas he's got for stuff. I don't know if he's talked to you about them or not, but I'm not going to tell you because they're pretty badass. We'll keep them as a surprise.
Me or
for you? Yeah, for you,
let's
Sleeve,
do it.
man.
Let's do it.
Like I said, he's got like a list of 27 things he wants to fit in there. So
All right, nice.
we're going to trim it down.
I was going to say
All the things he's saying people shouldn't do, I'm doing. I'm guilty of
you're
all
going to
that.
be that guy he's going to have to disappoint.
Yeah. We pick his top 5.
You're good at tough conversations because I got a few that I can add to that list.
Yeah, look, I want to come back and do some tribal art with some. No, I don't.
He wants a full chapter. It's his favorite chapter in that particular H.P. Lovecraft story, so he wants the chapter on his elbow.
Look,
Right,
I would
exactly.
like if you could combine 37 monsters into one and put it in this little area right here.
Right.
They're going to be at night, and it's going to be dark.
Picture a dark field.
This would be what would happen if they were all in the same closet with the lights off.
Have you ever had anybody come in and your answer is like, let's just black that thing out, man. Let's just cover it in black, and that's all I can do for you.
I've had a couple people where that's been just about the only option for the amount of shit they have. And, your options are to black this out or go see a laser guy and have it lightened up. You do that a couple times, and it opens up a million more options to get rid of things and cover them up. Because sometimes their ideas don't work for cover-ups. Sometimes, that really soft black and gray portrait that you want, it's not going to cover something. So maybe you need something that's bigger, bolder, and full of saturated colors to really hide it.
Right.
Can you cover a dark tattoo with light colors?
With varied results.
Right.
Yes and no. Some people do it and they get good results. Some people do it and, a year down the road, you see the old shit poking right through.
Right.
What was always taught to me was if it's black, you need to cover it with black.
Right.
But there are people getting, white tattoos on top of their blackout sleeves, and they're getting mixed results with it. Some people are going back, every 6 months to have it put back in, or, it all depends on the saturation of what's underneath of it.
Right.
If it's like blacked out, blacker than black, ain't shit going in there.
Yeah.
But if it's what everybody thinks is black and it's actually a really dark gray that has a lot of pores of skin that can hold that saturated color, it does better.
Do you find that what would be the biggest difference between like the ink people used to use back in the day as compared to today? Is there a big difference in the ink itself? Does it stay longer? Like I noticed old things from the 70s turn green. Is that something that still happens? Or
Not really because of the inks and stuff back then. Most of that's the aftercare and the way people treat their tattoos. Like you see a lot of the old sailors and they have like these green blobs on their arm. Everybody's like, that's what your tattoo is going to look like when you're old. No, that's what a tattoo looks like when they slap a pile of ointment and a gauze bandage on it and tell you to take it off in 2 weeks. And you go get on your fucking ship and you leave and the bandage falls off and you're out to sea and you're doing all this shit in the sun and you've got a big chunky scab. It never stood a chance. It probably looked like that when that scab finally came off, 8 weeks later. That's how it was.
Right.
You take care of it and they stay looking good, you know?
I lotion mine all the time.
Sun, it takes a beating. It's 25 years old, and it isn't touched up.
Mm-hmm.
It's put in there, and it's left.
Yeah, none of my stuff is touched up, and people are always surprised when I tell them how old it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't sit out in the sun. I don't, I keep them covered. Yeah.
Sun is extremely damaging to tattoos.
Well,
Keeps them looking nice longer.
Yeah.
And like you said, upkeep, man, taking care of it. Taking care of it's half the battle.
Instructions while it's healing. If you let it turn into a giant festering scab, of course it's going to look fucked up underneath. The skin's ruined.
Yeah, the healing part is the most important part of the whole process, really, because you're on your own. You've got to take care of it. You've got to have the discipline to follow the instructions. Don't
Wash
scratch
it, clean it.
Don't fucking scratch it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, all you have to do is wash them and keep them clean.
Mm-hmm.
You can put other stuff on there, and it does help the process at certain times, but if you wash it and keep it clean, it will heal.
Right.
And it will heal fine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll tell you what, speaking of healing and washing and cleaning, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. I'm going to wrap this tattoo up with Joe while we play you guys a couple of quick songs. And I'm going to give you the reason for these as well. Well, Ballwood was supposed to be here. He does have a family situation that he's dealing with, and he didn't make it. But the next song we're playing was my song I played specifically for my man Ballwood. We discovered Hellweed together and just love this fucking band. This song, Paradox, is just... If you can listen to this without breaking something, I don't know. You need to go to a doctor and check for a pulse. But we're going to come back out of these two quick jams with some Serpentine Dominion, which is another one of my favorite releases of the last couple of years. I love it a lot. We'll come back. We got one more break. We'll talk to you one more time here in Orange Tattoo in Annapolis, Maryland, where you're going to want to make your appointment immediately to come out and get some ink. And we'll talk to you one more time, and then we'll get out of here for the night and let you go about your business. But I want to thank everybody being here tonight. We love you guys more than you know. Let's play a couple quick jams. We'll come back. We'll close the thing out and call it a night. But keep hanging out. Don't go nowhere. We're not done yet. Much love, much metal.
written in this beautiful golden calligraphy on the front door, big beautiful letters, "Home of the Get What You Get" tattoo. The Get What You Get tattoo. I can't think of a worse slogan for a tattoo parlor. I mean, how does that work? Hi, yes, I'm a little nervous. I've never gotten a tattoo before. But this is a photo of my daughter, Angel. She would have been 6 today. And I'm wondering if you could tattoo her likeness and then above it a ribbon that says "Rest in Peace." And then you know the famous painting of the cherubs looking down from heaven? Can they be holding the ribbon? Then underneath it would say, "Bye bye, sweetheart. Mommy misses you very much." And if I could get that, and I'm a little nervous. Is it gonna hurt? I don't know. Should I take a shot or something? I don't. Okay, just do it. You know, and then cut to 3 hours later. All right, all done. Take a look. Oh my God, what is this? This isn't what I asked for. This is a naked female devil with big tits and spreading her legs and flipping the bird. It says, "Yo, nigga, where my paper be at?" What? That's not what I asked for at all. Hey, you get what you get. So I put it on the door, lady. Sign's right there on the door for you to walk in. Don't tell me you didn't see it, all right? I'm an artist. Yeah, one feeling your dead kid thing was kind of bumming me out, to be honest with you.
Serpentine Dominion, man. That is a badass song. I love it. I love it. Please pick up a copy of that, man. And before that, we played the Hellweed for my main man, Bongwood. Those dudes are out of Russia, and show them the love as well. But
we love you, Bongwood.
We do. We hope everything's all right, brother. Shout out to Tina and Bongwood, who did not make it in tonight that we expected. We love you both, and we hope things are okay, obviously. But a big special shout out, man. We are coming to the close of the show now. We only got one more song, but man, a special shout out to you, Mr. Joe.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the artwork and the ink. You're a badass, my brother. Thank you, Layla. Snax.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
You're forever Snacks now. You know that. You know.
I brought my food with me.
See, that's right. She
And there's
walked in the
cupcakes
door
in
with
that back
snacks.
room. I saw them cupcakes. I'm telling y'all. I'm hitting them before I leave.
That's right.
Can't hide them.
Thank you to our
will.
main man, Ribs, over there. Thank you, Hot Rod and B, for coming in and helping us out. Thank you, Frankie, for having us, letting us come into your establishment tonight, man, and invade for this special episode of Metal-O-Mania. 150 episodes, you guys.
Wow,
How
that's
crazy
pretty
is that?
crazy.
150. And we've reached some milestones, you know, some things I'm quite proud of at this point, man. We've got a worldwide following that hangs out with us every week for the show. We can't tell you how much we appreciate it. At least 21 countries hang out with us every week now, which just blows my mind to think about. And we appreciate you guys. We're only doing 150 because you guys hang out with us for it. And we'll continue to fail at it, because that's what we do. But we'll fail at it spectacularly. That's right. So,
different each week.
that's right. It'll
In
be
a
something.
different way.
We'll keep it.
Right.
We'll keep it fresh.
Never the same mistake twice.
That's right. That's right. You know, we don't
Exactly.
learn from our
Episode
mistakes.
300 is going to be twice as magnificent.
That's right. That's right. But you know, on the milestone, I mean, we recently, if you're new to the show, please go in the archives. We had our Overkill on the show. We talked to Billy Milano. We talked to Nile. We talked to Chrysix. We've talked to Ex-Hoarder. We've talked to Grave. We've talked to so many bands that I've just spent a lifetime loving. And, you know, now I got some of these cats in my goddamn Rolodex, my phone Rolodex.
Fun, huh?
Nobody knows what Rolodex is anymore, but, you know.
Right.
God, you're old.
In my phone.
His-
How about
his
that, you
little
fuckers?
flippy Rolodex he goes through.
That's right, yeah. You know,
You type messages on your typewriter.
yeah, right. Hey, man, we lost something with a Rolodex, man. You can learn how to play with a woman's. Anyway, so I had to turn it there.
That is true.
So, but yeah, truly, I appreciate everybody, especially all you Metal-O-Maniacs out there that keep supporting the show. Please continue to share the show and tag a buddy, and, you know, we love you for it, man. So we'll keep doing the thing. Episode number 151 next week, we'll be talking to Hateful Agony. But we have such big interviews coming out for
Or
everybody.
maybe
Possibly
Red
also
Death.
Red Death.
Oh, yeah, and Red Death. I was sharing that immediately. I'm going to share that like tonight, tomorrow, everywhere. It'll be all over our social media shit, and we will replay it next week because I really love those guys. And speaking of Red Death, go pick up Sickness Divine. I'm telling you, fantastic. So,
Very good.
all right, and on that note, we're going to close and get out of here with some Nile. Joe, thank you again, brother, very much.
Anytime. Thanks.
For real, man. We'll get together. I got some stuff to fix, man.
you're
We'll
not
do
gonna
it.
shut off over there.
I'm breaking things, but we are talking about doing a show here at in Orange Tattoo. So we'll do some things. I'll keep you guys posted on the details as we learn them and create them. But we're going to close the show with Niall, who just joined us on the show a couple of weeks ago. Please go into the archives and check it out. Carl Sanders could not be a cooler guy. This band could not be a better band. I love them for a lifetime now. And we're going to close with Snake Pit Mating Frenzy off of the new release.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
Sounds nice.
Again, go out and contact your tattoo artist immediately. Tell them you love them and get you some ink.
Stuff holds up, too. The
That's
stuff he's
right.
done before still looks brand new.
Fucking, oh man, I
Awesome
love it.
stuff.
I'll be back, Joe. We'll do some more stuff. So let this episode, just like your tattoo, get under your fucking skin. There you go. And on that note, we're out. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks a lot for hanging out. Much love, everybody.
Hey, this is Carl from Now, and you're listening to Metal-O-Mania.
What's a hand job? It's when a girl jerks you off until you cum, and then it's your job to clean it up. I don't think it's cum. Yeah, C-U-M. Cum.
Driving,
starts fires. No, that's a pyromaniac. She's a nymphomaniac. Someone who has sex on land and sea. Seriously?
And girls, if you want to get that lovely tattoo of the sunrise rising out of your ass crack, gorgeous when you're 20, but when you're 50, it's an octopus chasing a fucking starfish. So no.
Hey, what's up? This is Jason Bitter from Overkill, and you're listening to Metal-O-Mania.
Hi, Billy Mays here, and have I got a special offer for you? Have you been down and out and losing your faith in humanity? Well, we have the cure right here. It's called
Metal-O-Mania.